Hello, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and are well rested and had a great day today. Also, my weekend was great. I was able to do quite a few things over the weekend. So, um, yes. So with that, let's start what we need to do today. We would like to start by talking about your uh, global marketing, research and development, and those type of things. Yeah, so for that, so when you will click this link for global marketing, this is what you are going to see. So as you see on the top, for research and development, recall Procter and Gamble. So that was something which we did for chapter number 8. Yeah, so this is the video I'm referring to, Procter and Gamble. We also had a little bit of a discussion, if you guys remember, about Unilever, their brands, Procter and Gamble, their brands. I showed you some of them. I asked you to go on their website and do some work. So I hope you guys did that. But uh, I'm also thinking that maybe you did not do it. So what we are going to do, we are going to watch this clip, which is around 12 minutes long. So I'm going to play it in my browser also, and I am posting it in your chat also. So if the voice quality is not clear over here when I'm playing, for you guys, you can just play it for for yourself in your own computer or laptop. So here is the link. Yeah, it is in your chat now. So this one is Procter and Gamble. We're going to learn a couple of things about their research and development. So what I want is, please watch this clip and make notes. And after that, we will have a quick discussion on this. That what did you learn? What are the takeaway lessons and stuff like that. So that is how we are going to start today. Yeah. So please do that.
Hi, I'm Gardner Morse. I'm a senior editor at Harvard Business Review, and I'm pleased to have Scott Anthony here with me today. Scott is the managing director of Innosight, a strategy consulting firm, and he's the co-author of an article in our June issue entitled How Procter & Gamble Tripled Its Innovation Success Rate. Scott, thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me, Gardner.
Before we talk about how P&G did this, can you talk about why? What was the imperative?
You know, we think of P&G as being this innovation powerhouse, and it really is one of the best companies in the world at innovation. But if you go back a decade ago, they had some challenges. If you looked at the success rate of their innovation initiatives, it was only about 15%. That means the percent of things that they did that met the targets they set for revenues and profits, only 15%. The average size of the ones that succeeded were pretty small. You ran the numbers and their innovation portfolio was insufficient. What does that mean? It wasn't robust enough to meet some of the growth goals of the company. And the company has some pretty serious growth goals. It's about today an $80 billion company in revenues. It tries to organically grow about 5% a year. That's about $4 billion in new growth every single year. That's about the same as a company like Hasbro every single year. So what P&G realized it had to do a decade ago is change the way that it approached innovation so it could increase that success rate, so it could increase the size of the initiatives, so it could have a portfolio that would allow it to repeatedly and reliably meet those growth goals.
At the heart of this strategy is what you call the new growth factory in the article. Can you describe what that is?
Absolutely. So at the core of it, the new growth factory is a way to systematize the pursuit of growth through innovation, particularly coming up with ideas that can transform existing markets or create entirely new ones. There are 6 key elements to the factory. The first is having the right raw materials. For P&G, that means investing a lot of time and money in basic consumer understanding, about $400 million a year trying to get foundational understanding about markets. It means investing heavily in research and development, about $2 billion a year in R&D. It means its famous Connect and Develop program to get ideas from outside the company. The next part of the factory is what goes on the factory floor, where you can take those great raw materials and turn them into actual businesses. following a step-by-step process to take the materials, turn it into an idea, test that idea, and then bring it to the marketplace. You got to have skilled operators in a factory, people who know how to do this work, who've got experience with innovation and can do the right things to increase the chances of success. The fourth element is a process manual, a step-by-step guide that can help people do the work in the right sort of way. You got to make sure that this is all worked right sort of way. So the fifth piece of the puzzle is a dashboard. At any given time, for every project that's being worked on at P&G could tell you what's the potential of the project, how many resources are working on it, how many resources are required to commercialize it, where is it in the innovation process. They can then check that dashboard against a production schedule. What's required to be produced in the factory? What needs to come out of it? What types of ideas should they be working on? All of this then feeding into important conversations between leaders to make sure the right resources are being spent in the right place to deliver the growth that P&G needs.
Can you describe how all these moving parts integrate to actually create an innovation and market test it?
Absolutely. So let me give you a couple examples that I think will help bring it to life. And I'll give you two very different examples. The first one I'll talk about is Tide dry cleaning. So a few years ago, a team from P&G had an idea. The dry cleaning experience for most consumers in the United States is not a particularly pleasant experience. You go to the dry cleaner, it's not that convenient, it's not that nice inside the store, you got to park your car, you got to bring clothes in, and so on. So P&G said, what if we really approach this from a consumer-first perspective and design a truly delightful experience within the dry cleaner? What if we had things like lockers where people could store their clothes? What if we created a drive-through window where people could drop off their clothes? We've got some proprietary technologies that provide special benefits to the consumer. What if we brought all of this together? Now, it all looked good on paper, but critically, P&G had to go test it in market because this is a fundamentally different business model. They're not trying to sell to you or me. What they're trying to do is sell to a franchise owner who will spend about $1 million to have the rights to operate a local franchise. So a couple years ago, they opened 3 stores in the state of Kansas to figure out the plan that looks so good on paper, would it actually translate to the market? Everything looked great, so they continued to take the idea forward. In fact, going so far as to create a separate company called Agile Pursuits to manage the business because it's so different from their core business. Going from an idea to a proposition tested in market to something that looks like it's got some real growth potential. Let's give you a completely different example. Let's go to India. Interesting story. About 10 years ago, Gillette, which is now part of the P&G family, said, we got to go after the market in India. After all, there's a lot of hair on people's faces in India, and a lot of people are using single-edged blades where they shave themselves with the blade. So what if we came up with a simple, cheap razor targeting that market? Gillette developed a razor. It tested it among Indian consumers, introduced it in market, and it completely flopped. And you ask yourself, how did this happen? Where did Gillette run the test? Gillette is a Boston-based organization. They tested it among Indian consumers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Of course, those consumers are a little different than the consumers located in India. So when P&G decided it was going to do this again a few years ago, it flew researchers out, had them spend about 2,000 collective hours in India, observing consumers to watch how they shaved, the constraints they faced when they were shaving, and design a product specifically designed to meet their unique jobs to be done. They introduced the product, the Gillette Guard, late in 2009. This is a really interesting product. I actually brought one with me here today. This retails for 15 rupees. That's 33 US cents. Here's the replacement cartridge, 5 rupees. This is about 10 US cents to have a replacement cartridge go on the blade. Now, this isn't something that's just stripped down technology, and there are some really unique elements on it. If you look at the face of the razor here, they put a special technology on it, so if you dip it in a cup of water, the hair follicles easily come off, because most people aren't shaving with running water. These are the kinds of things the factory is designed to produce. Tide dry cleaners, completely different business model. Gillette Guard, a very low cost but still delightful solution to reach hundreds of millions of consumers in India.
What are the most important lessons P&G has learned setting up the factory?
The first key lesson is that the factory and the core business share some surprising linkages. Now, there's been a lot of talk in the academic literature about how you organize for innovation. Some people say create a skunk works, a completely separate organization. Some people say you create something where there's an ambidextrous leader who looks over the two different organizations. What we found as we built this factory is that the factory and the business need to be tightly linked together in a couple of different ways. One of them is very obvious. The core business produces all of the cash that funds the factory's operations. So of course you got to respect that, understand it, and make clear note of it inside the organization. The second thing is the core business has capabilities that are absolutely critical for the factory to succeed. As a simple example, one of P&G's big brands today is the Swiffer brand of quick cleaning products. In about a decade, that becomes a billion-dollar brand. The reason why that happened is because P&G could leverage its great capabilities working with Walmart and other retailers. P&G would be foolish to not use some of these skills for its new growth efforts. Of course, you always have to be careful about these things because every capability has a liability, but some of these things can really enable success. The other thing that is an important linkage is sometimes the new growth factory gets interesting learnings that feed right back into the core business. As an example, in the article, we talk about a project that a team was working on to try and accelerate conversion from cloth to disposable diapers in emerging markets. The team learned people wear disposable diapers with higher urine containment, kids sleep longer, and they get some cognitive boosts. Their brains actually develop better. Well, that learning went right back into the core Pampers franchise and helped it accelerate growth in emerging markets. You know, one of the things that I found so interesting as we were going through the article writing process is about 2 weeks before we hit our final deadline, one of the examples in the article, Swash, this brand of products that quickly refreshes clothes, we learned that P&G decided to stop investing in the product. Now, I bet you in many cases we would have to quickly find a way to pull it out of the article because you never want to talk about the failures. But in this case, we added one extra sentence at the end of the paragraph that said P&G decided to stop investing, but that was okay because they got learning that would inform other things in the portfolio.
You mentioned P&G's resources, but most companies don't have its scale. How does a smaller company take advantage of growth factory opportunities?
There really are two things that I would suggest that any company think about. The first is thinking about whether they are pursuing growth through innovation in a systematic way. And I would suggest that any company that's counting on more than 90% of its growth from doing what they're currently doing, just doing it better or in more places, is insufficiently organized to meet some of the challenges in today's environment. No matter how big a company you are, your industry is changing. The things that you're doing are changing, and you need to be thinking not just about how you do things better, but how you do things differently. And a lot of the lessons I hope from the factory can help companies do this in a powerful way. The second thing is, even if you don't have a portfolio of efforts, even if you've got one thing you're working on, think about the way that P&G approaches innovation. It's grounded in deep consumer insight. They try to find ways to turn that into testable propositions, to bring it to the market, to figure out what happens when people actually encounter a real product. They're ready to iterate once they learn things that surprise them. That's generally useful learning for anybody who's pursuing anything related to innovation. So those are the two lessons I would draw for other companies that might not have the resources of P&G.
Finally, just a sentence or two. For leaders, what is the one takeaway you'd leave them with?
If innovation is important to you, and I would argue it is important to every leader given today's turbulent markets, you have got to spend time on it. This kind of stuff just does not happen by accident. It requires very careful oversight and very deep involvement from the most senior leaders in the organization.
Scott, thank you. Scott Anthony is Managing Director of Insight. You can read his article and more at hbr.org.
Great. So I hope you were able to watch the clip either with us or in your own browser. So please go ahead and tell us what are some of the observations you can pick as you are watching this clip. What did you learn? What do you agree? What do you not add to the discussion? This is about research and development. They are giving you excellent examples over there. They are talking about Pampers, dry cleaning, other things. You heard them. Yeah. So you have to develop on it and link it with international trade. Link it with the discussions we have had before. Link it with your own experiences of internship and stuff like that. Link it with your other courses, with regular life. maybe add some examples which you observed or maybe can qualify for this type of discussion, why research and development is important and stuff like that. So yes, please go ahead.
So the first what I would like to tell, hello everybody, hello Tashfin.
Hello.
Yes, and let's go right through it. Inside PNG, the topic was about PNG and their growth strategy, how they are going forward with their business, and this was put through the whole video in a really imperative manner. This is innovation and customer orientation. And they have given as well 6 essential points of how to do it. For example, the innovation portfolio was not that good, but later on they could improve from their 80 billions, what they had, to grow 5% a year, and this organically. So therefore, they needed a better portfolio, and the better portfolio could be reached through knowing the raw materials, investing a lot of time and money in them. So investigation, research, and development. Yes. Then another point which was important was the factory floor. If you're taking then the raw materials, you needed an idea. You need to put it in form of something new and something innovative. Then you test it and bring it to the market. Therefore, you need the skilled operators, the process manual, a dashboard to control and have control over the whole business and the idea, and a production schedule. So what should be produced, because it was needed the right material in the right place at the right time in order to grow like they have wanted 5% each year. So the 2 points are how the growth is pursued with innovation, and that they know and live for the customer from their perspective. And this is the most important key tool that they have given to us, that we put ourselves into the customer and try to understand what is his problem and how would he like to have his problem solved. And then through the resources we have to offer him with a new way and collaborative idea, this solution, so they can grow like never before.
Thank you very much, Vlad, for that. So think about these things which our friend has very nicely put forward for us. Please reflect on these, like, in the last part of the talk, when the question was asked, what are some of the things smaller companies maybe can learn, because we can think that Procter and Gamble and these type of companies are very big, they are very resourceful and stuff like that. But what are the things we can learn from that if we have a smaller business, or starting our own entrepreneurial activity, or working for a smaller business. Not many businesses are as big as Procter and Gamble, so that type of thinking is important for us to reflect on. So one of the pointers which Vlad mentioned for that is customer understanding. Customer understanding. So this is reflect on it. In a theoretical way, these things are very common, and you might say, well, yes, we know that customer and understanding is important, but to really implement these things can be very tricky. Can be very tricky, because think about our engagement. What is, you can call it an international transaction, because I am coming from another country, you guys are there, you are also coming from different countries sometimes. So this, our interaction, is an international transaction. Yeah. So think about who is the customer. You are the customer maybe, and I am the supplier. Yeah. So I would have my own way of doing the things what I want to do in international trade. You would have your own way of understanding things and stuff like that. Maybe it can happen what I'm doing, you think that maybe it could have been done like this and that. Of course, there is always, room for improvement. Even companies like Procter Gamble and those type of companies, they are looking for improvement. Who am I and who are you? We are like not even a speck of dust in the scheme of international trade. So think about it. This can be quite tricky. So yes, customer satisfaction, as I am thinking about it, you are my customer, I need to satisfy you. But I have my own agenda, I have my own vision, I have my own, what I want to really tell you, that. So I want to do that also. But maybe some of you would not, really understand why this is important and why should I do this, and reflection. I have not done that before, and this video concept explanation, oh, this don't make sense, and participation, why I have to speak, why I can't just, all of these things are natural, yeah. So, so no matter where I would go, these things are going to happen. So think about it. Even let's say that I was doing it in a traditional way, running a PowerPoint slide, and uh, doing it the traditional way, whatever it is, and giving you guys break and everything. Do you think all of you would be satisfied then? No, there would still be people who would say, no, this is not making sense, and this is the. And look at this. This is a very small interaction and a very friendly discussion. You guys are friendly with me. I'm friendly with you. It is nothing hostile. We are not competing against each other or something like that. So even in this type of environment, it can be challenging. Imagine that, if we were going in international business and I satisfy my clients and I have someone else competing in the job, and I have to take care of that also, but I don't want to compromise my own vision, what I think, what I believe. Because then if I compromise what I want to do in international trade, then what is the point? Then why we are talking about the vision and making a difference and even innovation and bringing new ideas, and how that is going to happen? So for that, I would have to, if I'm going to do things differently with you guys, yeah, which I think I have been doing, I should be ready for criticism. I should be ready for some people who are not going to like me. That is going to happen. Why should I think that when I'm doing something different, all of you would appreciate and you would say, oh yes, this is good. This is new thing for you. This is change. Yeah, this is change. So what is change? Change is uncomfortable. So think about all these things in the context which the I gave this example because maybe we can relate with this a little more than an example in international trade. So think about this, what he is saying: customer understanding, customer satisfaction, very important. But the people who are running the business, they also need to be like committed to what they want to do. Otherwise it won't come from the product. The service is not going to come from the heart. It will be very shallow. Yeah, so this is a big dilemma. Like, what is the balance? Where how to, till which extent can someone go to satisfy customer? What are the boundaries in that? Are you losing the identity of your product, your service? Yeah, these are the real difficult questions which businesses ask to themselves. And no matter they are small or big, they need to think about this. So please think about these things. And the second point was this deep consumer satisfaction in his talk, when they were asking how small businesses. So reflect on all these things which Vlad mentioned. Yes, next one, please.
I hope it's working. Hi. I actually wanted to point out another thing that is also closely linked to the customer satisfaction, I think. And this was also said multiple times in the video, because this is, or I think it was a very important point, to have a real market research in the targeted market. Because I think a perfect example for this was the market entrance of their razors in India, because here he said that well, a company of P&G, which is called Gillette, tried to yes, place a cheap razor in the market in India, but it flopped because one big reason for that was because they tested it in a university in the USA, so they did not really have the right target group. And then they just went to India, looked at their requirements and standards of the consumer or the possible consumer, and in the end they manufactured or built a very cheap razor. I think it was for like 33 cents, and because they just adapted it to like the standards that they had. For example, he said that they are maybe not able to use running water and just standard water, so it was just much easier for them to clean it. And I think this just really points out how important the work in an international context is, because this was just the intercultural or a cultural adaptation to the market that they wanted to target, which in the end led to a successful integration of the product.
Thanks very much, Sabas, for that. That is quite an interesting example if you think about that, guys. So Gillette, very big company, they make razors, and they thought that India is a big market. Let's enter in that market. For that, they made a product, and then, as Sebastian is mentioning, they tested it on Indians. So Indians will use it in India. So they tested it on Indians, so they would have similar type of skin or whatever, hair type or whatever you want to call it. But they did it in USA. So they were both are Indians, facial hair and stuff like that. They are same, but the thing which they did not think about is the environment in which they will use the product. Environment. So in US, the environment was that when someone is shaving, because water is maybe not a big problem, and people who are using it were coming from a little bit better class, so they had access to running water. Maybe in their shower or wherever they are going to use it, once they have ran the blade, they would rinse it under flowing water. They would open the tap and rinse it, and no problem in that. But the people who are going to it in India, because of the pricing of the product and the target market and so on, yes, they are Indians in terms of hair nature of the facial hair. But the thing which we are not talking about a small business or someone who don't know, or someone don't have a company which don't have smart people. Yeah, they have top people working for these type of companies, best talent from the world. Yeah, not from a country, from the world, highly coming from top universities, experienced and all those type of things. And even if these are not one man projects, people are there from different backgrounds, diversified teams, all of those things are there. So when it was launched in India, people who are going to use it, because of the price and stuff, they did not had access to running water, tap water. So what they would do is put water in some glass or something like that, and then once they ran the blade, they would dip it in the water. And with this product, although the pricing was right, replacement blade was right priced, they were not able, the hair follicles were not able to come out in that way. So what happens there? Business is gone. But think behind the scene now. Think behind the scene. This is something which is apparent, but think behind the scene. And I will just think a little bit, but you can think as much as you want to really get into the complexity of such situations. So think about it. All the resources were gone in make blade. They tested it, market testing, all the pricing and everything. But then transportation, where those things were produced, then brought into India all the way. Then all the clearance fees, port fees, transportation fees, inventory fees, all of those fees, they were thing, and then they were not sending it to one place. It is like you would, when you are launching a product, you are launching it on a higher scale. So then dealing with the shopkeepers, giving them the product, all the issues in supply chain. Then shops are displaying it in the fashion where it is seen by the customer, yeah, getting good visibility in the shops, all the issues. And then customer would come and he would buy the product because it is Gillette and it is priced well, so why not, let's do that. And then the customer goes home and he shaves and dips, and the thing is not coming up. Imagine the frustration, maybe because the person is coming from not a, we it's a underprivileged type of people, maybe in terms of finance and stuff like that, so they have not reached yet to financial something stability. So now that person is and maybe the person is not very well educated, and he can't he has his own different way of thinking, maybe, yeah, he's not going to maybe rationalize things and stuff like that. And why should he rationalize? He's customer and he paid for the product, and now he's home and maybe he ran the blade on one side and some hairs are gone, and now he's dealing with this problem, and maybe he does not has access to has to tap water. He's frustrated now very much because he has to go to work and stuff like that, whatever he needs to do. So his day is starting out bad anyways. He's going to go back to the shop, and what do you think he's going to say? How do you think he's going to talk? uh, and it is not one customer, it's all the people who bought it, more or less, they are going to go, because they cannot afford to, although you might say that it is just 33 cents, but it is 33 cents for you. For someone else, 33 cents can be a lot of money. Maybe it is not for you. So he's going to go and he's going to give it back, and he's going to be rude, and he's going to ask for refund. He's going to tell the person, give me my 33 cents. So at that time, that customer is dealing with other customers, or maybe, yeah. So that environment is kind of going bad, and the shopkeeper cannot really afford to fight back. So what he's going to do? He will have to, willingly or unwillingly, he will have to take the product and give back the money, and that customer is not happy with the shop also. It is Gillette's fault, but that customer is not really thinking about Gillette. He is thinking about that shopkeeper. So he is now his business deal with that shop can terminate. It's a possibility. He will say, well, I'm not going to come back again to your shop now. This is a possibility. And this is a small shop, small community. That person's business is gone, and he cannot be rude with the customer. What he is going to do? When the Gillette people are going to come, how he is going to talk with them? The relationship with Gillette is gone bad. The people who supply, who are the distributors of Gillette in that country, in that community, what is going to happen there? No one is going to take the loss. Everyone is going to drop it to Gillette. Everyone. The customer is going to drop it on the shop. Shop person is going to drop it on the people who brought it. People who brought it is going to drop it on the distribution supply chain managers. Those people are going to drop it on the country managers of Gillette, and they are going to drop back in the headquarters. And in the headquarters, when that big loss is going to come, the people are going to drop it on the people who are doing testing and something like that. Yeah. So this is quite it might seem not that big of a thing, but I'm just touching it. We don't have time to go in depth what are the consequences of these type of blunders. But you need to think in your own time. I'm just guiding your thoughts to think like this. And what was the mistake? It's a very simple mistake. Yes, you are selling it to Indians. Well, we tested it on Indians. Somewhere they forgot the environment, the working condition. Maybe they were supposed to go to India also to see the environment, but then they could not go for some reason, because maybe the competition is coming with a similar product and they were in a rush to launch it. It is a possibility. Maybe they thought that they had spent a lot of money on some other thing and now they have to cut cost to make the overall budget look same. This also happens. Very different reasons can go behind that. Many different reasons. And then look at the loss, big loss. Think about this, how tricky this can be. And then this is the first time loss. Yeah, you enter in a market, research and development, you spend a lot of money, of course, but market entry is unsuccessful, and then they went back. And then they spend they send the team to India to see how they shave, what is the environment like, everything. And how much time did they spend on this time? 2000 hours. 2000 hours. Now 2000 hours might seem a very little time, but if you will reflect, if you are working on something for 2000 hours, that is a lot of time. Please calculate anything in your life where you have worked for 2000 hours, how long that is. If you have really worked on something, even if you are at work and you work 7 hours per day, how many days are those? How many months, or how much time that is? If you are working 7 hours per day, after how many days, months you will complete 2000 hours? And even in that, you are not really working all the time, you are you are doing other things also. Yeah, studies, for example, for your undergraduate degree, how many hours of lectures you attend? Calculate it. Just for, just to compare that, how many hours are those? If someone can maybe calculate these and type in the chat, I think it would be good reflection to really understand what is 2000 hours. Because sometimes we think that 2000 hours, what is 2000 hours? It is not much. How many hours we have spent together? 20 hours, something like that. Yeah, just 20 hours, and see how many things we spoke about. And 20 hours, just 20 hours. This is 2000 hours. And 2000 hours in what? In observing how these people, what are they doing with the razor. Just in that. It's not observation. 2000 hours. So first time when Gillette is going, they did not maybe look into that. But second time when they are going, they are spending 2000 hours. I want you to reflect on that. Why they are doing it? Because now they cannot afford to lose. It is not possible for them. Company is going to go out now. If something happens with the blade again, very difficult to recover. Unit saying, which is almost a year. Almost. It's quite a time. It's quite a time. Reflect on that. 2000 hours is 50 work weeks, 40 hours per week. That is what is 2000 hours. But if you would not have think like this, and thanks John for bringing this information. Please see the chat. Yun has posted in there. If we would not have talked about that, how many of you, when you were watching the clip, thought about this? That 2000 hours? Or you just said 2000 hours? It did not really, it did not ring any bell. Think about this. So second time, so that is why, you have to be careful first time. That is why. So first time when you are entering a market, international trade, do all the work. Do all the work. Don't think that, don't take it lightly. Because second, and only Gillette, a company like Gillette can afford that. Very resourceful companies can afford second entry. because they have the money, they have, this is just one aspect, 2000 hours. Other things which went into background, it's just your imagination now. How far are you going to think about this delicate matter? So please reflect on this very carefully and take a moment to really absorb this, just on observing how people are doing that. And now think about this after work, when they would have redone the product and everything. And now when they will ship to India, and the supply chain is going to take it, okay, all right, because it is Procter and Gamble, and we send lot of products for them, so we cannot say no to them. So it is business relationship, so they will take it. Now when the person is going to go to that shop again, which I was telling you about, where that little fight happened and argument happened, and the person goes to the shopkeeper and shows him the razor, do you think he's going to just take it like that? As he's going to look at that razor, all of that memory is going to come in his mind, what happened, and he's going to think, customer, not one customer came, many customers came to return the product. All that memory, that fight, that all of that embarrassment is going to come, and the shopkeeper is going to say, no, 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 I don't want it. No, sorry. It's a little shop. He can say that. He can choose the product. And now the person has to sell Gillette, a big brand like Gillette. He's to convince these brands are like, the people are waiting for their products. But when this type of things at the table is going to turn, now the shopkeeper is in the, think about the negotiation, conflict management conversations we had. Now the shopkeeper has upper hand. He is going to say that, okay, all right, you put it here, and I am not going to push the product. If customer come and he asks for it, I will give it to them. And I cannot pay you right now because I don't know, maybe maybe it's working, maybe it's not working, I don't know, because experience was not good. So the supplier would say, okay, no problem, because they can afford to say these things. Small businesses cannot do that. So because it is Gillette, they have a lot of money, they will say, no problem, you don't have to pay right now, just keep the product, we will collect later if the sales happen. And now think about the marketing expense which Gillette would have to put in India now to reach to the consumer. Now Gillette has to really advertise, because the shops are not going to sell it to, like, push it the way they did last time, because this time they are kind of reluctant, especially in the beginning. So the marketing expense in the country is going to go up. And in the marketing campaign, they will show people, who are in the TV advertisement, person Indian is shaving and dipping it in the thing, and follicles, hair follicles coming out, and all of those things are happening, and he's satisfied. And then maybe all of this, after that, maybe the customer come and buy, and then all of those things, and even a customer might come to the shop and he say different things, and then all of that, and then eventually. So all of this discussion is also linked with entry strategy. It is also linked with re-entry strategies, other things which we spoke about. So I hope you would think on these things, and maybe develop your own conclusions and thoughts. Yes, next one.
Hi. I just wanted to mention that I think for me the most important key takeaway for innovation and growth was that he was mentioning that especially leaders shouldn't think about doing, or of course as well, but should not only think about improving something, but also to do something differently. And I think that was like firstly important because maybe regarding, for example, razors, I guess you should not only improve razors regarding the own product, but also, as you already mentioned, the cultural differences, what kind of razor every country need, but also what kind of different products could help for moving hair. For example, we could also do waxing or whatever. So maybe like think in that way differently, what different products they could make to reach different clients, I guess. And also I thought it was important regarding research, because I think he mentioned that they did research for something else, but figured out something for the Pampers or whatever for babies. So even if you have completely different things and you want to like increase your product range in that case, you could maybe learn from the one research even for your other product. So in any way, it's kind of a win-win situation, even if you don't find out something for a new product. And yeah, I think it was something like for me an interesting part in the video, I guess.
Yes, thanks, Hedi. Excellent points. And think about this, what Hedi said. So the first point in for the small businesses, second was a deep consumer insight. First was a growth through innovation. Just doing better is not enough. Yeah, many reasons, because your industry is changing, consumer demands are changing, not just better but different. That is important. And our friend gave example of waxing, for example. Uh, generally girls would wax, but think about it, how many different ways of waxing is there. So many different ways, a lot. Yeah. Some for shorter, give you short result for short time, some long term, and then technology is also there, lasers and stuff like that. So these companies can't just, so these are lessons for smaller, like when we want to start something or something. It is not just just the same thing again and again. That won't really, that is maybe not future of the business. Yes, some businesses can survive that they are doing the same thing again and again, but they are like Coca-Cola, Pepsi. They are making same Pepsi again and again and again. Yes, so yes, they are making same, but they are innovating. So for Pepsi, how many different tastes are there for Pepsi? How many different type of variations are there for Pepsi? From diet to different flavored drinks and stuff. It's Pepsi, but the color is changed, different flavors are introduced, uh, less calories, stuff like that. But their main brand is the Pepsi carbonated water. Same for Coke. Yeah, that is the real. But and that is where they are doing most of the sales. But they are innovating. They are coming up with why they have to do that. They could just sell the original one. And not just that, they are changing other things. Do run a search right now, maybe. Run a search on Google. Pepsi changing their logos, the design, the sign, that red, white, and blue, something like that, and Pepsi written on it sometimes. Just run a Google search. That how many times Pepsi has redesigned their logo in their whole history. You would be surprised quite a few times why they had to do that. Yeah, that is interesting marketing question. And not just why. Please run a search and try to find out how much money Pepsi spent on the last redesign of their logo. Last time, whenever last time they changed the logo, how much money they spend in changing their logo. You would be surprised how much money that is. Yeah. And think about it, when the logo is redesigned, it has to be redesigned globally. So all the bottles which had the signs, all the hoardings, advertisement, all the things needs to be now new, that with the new logo. So why companies do that? Why can't just stick with the what is, and the funny thing is that when you will compare the logo, the new logo with the last one, you might not see a big difference. It is the same colors, it is kind of a little here and there. It is not a drastic redesign. That is what it is. You have to, it's not the same. You have to, consumer don't Okay, Sebastian is saying Pepsi spent $1 million on what? On just redesigning the logo in 2008. $1 million. And look at the logo. How much did they really redesign? It was not something like it was something else before. Now it is transformed to something like that and something totally new. Nothing like that. Very minor, any minor change. These are quite interesting things to reflect on. Yeah, next one, please.
My point actually adds up to Heidi's because one of the first things they said was also that they spend about 2 billion a year on R&D to get new ideas from outside from the market. And I can really see that point because I used to work in a company and they were always behind the trend. So the trend came first on Instagram, everyone would see it for 3 or 4 weeks and it would already almost be over. And then the company introduced that new product. And I think if you can be the first one in the market or even like the leader who actually develops that product or brings it into the market and you all have all those followers, you like your growth strategy is so much more effective and you can grow so much faster. And yeah, I think that's also like you really have to be on time and really have to make quick changes to adapt to the customer needs. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like the last one in the line and you're never gonna make it as big as other companies might have.
Very interesting. But then it also, because please read about second movers advantage. Yeah, so first mover advantage our friend is talking about. Read about this. A second movers advantage, because you can also learn from the mistakes of the first mover, and then you can learn from that and maybe do even better. There are many companies which have done that, so I would encourage you to run some search on that. But yes, what Elisa is saying is absolutely correct. The first mover market is new. People are going to sometimes eager to taste the product or use the product or service, whatever it is. That is quite an interesting point in that. Yes, next one.
I just wanted to make a short remark on the Gillette because it's something that really struck me. If we consider that they invest 2,000 hours, and I can imagine how much money is invested there for a product that costs in India only 33 cents and the replacement only 10 cents. So like I couldn't have ever imagined that in the product that costs that little could be invested so much money. So it's something that really surprised me, and I guess only such giants as Procter and Gamble and like Gillette as a part of them can actually afford it, because it's quite an expensive joy to make such an investment. And another remark I wanted to make on the video, they said that Procter & Gamble as a giant, they always respect the core brand because it's the one that produces cash, and they also use its capabilities. So the example here was a Swiffer products, and in a decade it has become a 1 billion brand. And it's only because Procter & Gamble was able to use its capabilities in terms of cooperation with Walmart and another retail stores. But also he says another interesting thing here, that capabilities have always its liabilities. So important thing here to leverage it and to make use of the core businesses, but also to be aware of the liabilities.
Very interesting, very interesting. Thanks for this, Lena. And with this, for example, remember it came earlier also in one of our discussion when in the first session or something like that, one friend was telling that how something dropped outside and he used a little bit of a thing to catch it, and like it was when we're talking about ID and stuff like that. So Swiffer is done in the same way, like they made it in a way that it could reach in the corners where other the competition's product could not really reach, and it had the ability to suck the or retain the dust and stuff like that. You should look into that product. Quite interesting. And with the other comment Lena is making, please think about that also. The first one, like yes, it is 33 cents, but the market is very big, like Indian market. The people, if the product becomes successful, it is a lot of money. And then people, if they like the product, they are not going to use it one time. They are going to use it again and again and again and again. So that is why maybe they are spending a lot of money. And but the re-entry thing is quite challenging. Think about that. But we spoke mostly about Gillette. Other examples were equally very good. So in your own time, I don't want to discuss all of them. I exposed you to this. It is your job, or based on your interest, you can pursue it more and try to think more about these things, what is happening. Last point on this one is, in the clip they were saying that how to make it happen and stuff like that. So in that, the guy mentioned that you have to spend time on it, spending time on something. Yeah. So you can be very smart, and you be able to do things in a fast way and stuff like that. Very good, very good. But generally speaking, you have to spend time on projects. Really spend time. Yeah. So that is one thing, and really have to, top leadership has to come in, really have to sit down, reflect from different angles, what can go wrong. That thing which we spoke about, pre-mortem analysis. Before you start the project, you think that it has failed, and then think that what are some of the things which can make it fail. That is an interesting technique which you can use, and we spoke about other techniques also. So you can reflect on that. So these products which become so successful, when you are going in a shop and you pick up a particular brand of soap, a particular brand of toothpaste, anything, ice cream, particular brand. See, you guys are particular. If I ask you which soap you prefer, you would have in your mind that is the soap I use, that is the toothpaste I use, that is the perfume I use, or I like or enjoy, whatever. You have your set of preferences. So what I'm trying to say, when you go in a shop and you buy a particular brand, it is not by chance or by accident that you bought it. You might think that it just happened, but the company has deliberately focused on customer or clients like you to buy that product. It is not by accident. It is not by chance. It is a particular way of thinking which helped them to reach to whatever they were trying to do. Yeah. So please think about that in your own time if you can. That is what I wanted to talk about for this one, and then let's talk about marketing a little bit. So for marketing, my question is that try to reflect on this, that these marketing campaigns, marketing advertisements and stuff like that, whatever you see in marketing, what are some of the things which make you like a marketing campaign? Yeah, so you are seeing a marketing campaign. What is it that attracts you in it? Is it that it is funny? Is it that it you happy? Is it that it is unique? What makes you attracted to any marketing campaign? And why we want to discuss this is because as international business marketers, when we will be part of the team which would be marketing international products, we need to think about these things, that what are the things people really enjoy or like or attracted to when they are watching any type of advertisement, any type of marketing campaign. So So think about this, and maybe in the chat you can also post the links of the marketing and advertisement campaigns which you like, and I would also briefly like to talk about that. But before we do that, let me run a couple of things. But you are thinking on these lines because that is what we would be discussing in a bit. But before we do that, we need to do I need to run a couple of things, so we are on the same page, and I want to cover some topics. So for that reason, so I am going to show you this. I'm going to show you this clip, which is Apple product. Yeah, so I'm showing you this clip, but it is not one advertisement. So it is a cut and paste of the advertisement of the same product, but the cut and paste is from different markets. So same product was launched with the marketing advertisement campaign in different markets. But this clip which I am showing you is a cut and paste of different advertisements which were directed in different markets, but the product is same. Yeah, that is what it is. So please let's watch it and see what we can take from that. So Apple international business, and this is what it is.
Sure.
So let me go back. Yeah, you saw it once. Let me go back. So this is in one of their advertisement in a different market, and observe it says in English maybe. Yeah. So in next market maybe they will change the language, and then next market they will change the language. And we have spoken about that languages when we were talking about culture, they are important. So they are taking care of this thing. Yeah. This is the next advertisement, cut and paste. That was the next one, and this is the next one. Yeah, so it goes very quick. Yeah, but so you have to think about that. So I hope you understood what this clip would be about. Yeah. So
show me my book list.
You have 4 book reminders.
So the girl is sitting and she's saying, show me the book list, and the answer comes. But let me go back again, and you have to observe that what is the context in which the girl is sitting. What is she wearing? What colors she's wearing? How she's holding the phone? What is on her desk? What is in the background? All of these things you are observing, because it is cut and paste and it is moving very fast. So you have to really focus. And then the next advertisement, cut and paste would come, and the next one and the next one. Yeah, so watch it.
Book list.
You have 4 book reminders.
This is the next one. She's a different girl, but look at the sitting context. What color she's wearing, all the things which I mentioned, the background and everything. So you would realize that it is same. Yeah. So the product is being launched in a different market, language is being changed, but maybe not all the things.
Liste de livres. Vous avez 4 rappels dans la liste livres.
Next market. Why they are wearing yellow? Why that reddish shirt and the same necklace? And why is it the same background? All of these things you need to think and reflect in your own time. Why they are doing that? Yeah, quite interesting. This is a new girl, and the same thing. The question here is to reflect on that. You change your marketing technique, but what do you change? What do you not change? In which product services you would change, in which you would not change? That is not the point of our discussion. When I will ask you a question, I will ask you about the advertisements you liked and why you liked them and so on. This is just I want you to reflect in your own time as you do marketing courses and stuff like that, and as you observe other things, you need to think about these things. Yeah. And you need to read about Apple strategy, and a lot of work you would need to really do to really understand what is going behind these type of work. Now the guys there, please pay attention what he's holding, how he's holding his shirt. Even the shirt is full sleeves or half sleeves. All of the things you need to reflect on these.
que j'ai le cadeau d'Alice.
Sag Papa, wir haben das Geschenk für Julia.
All the three other guys had full sleeves. This one has half sleeve. Why is that? Yeah. So it's not by chance or accident. Something is going on. Someone thinks that in this market we need to go with half because the color. Why they have selected this color? Yeah. So these are linked with psychology, human psychology, making the product attractive to majority of the target people in the target market. It is always about majority. As I was telling you earlier, you cannot make all the people in the target market happy. It's not possible. Don't aim for that. Don't even aim for that. Like you guys are 30, 38, 35. I am not aiming to please all of you. Because if I will be, it will be very hard for me to manage. Because one person would say something else, other person. I am trying to do for the majority of the group, majority of the people. Yeah. So same is these big companies are also doing this. They are not trying to make Gillette is not trying to make all the people happy. So there might be people who don't like this color of the shirt. But Gillette is taking you have to wear one shirt. You cannot go maybe with a shirtless. So you have to wear one shirt. If you have to wear what shirt, which color should we go for? Which is the best for us? Not everyone is going to like this. That is fine. Yeah. But they are not changing it in different market. That is quite an interesting thing to reflect on.
Here's your message to Dad. Voici votre message à Papa.
Hier ist deine Nachricht an Papa.
サカナクション流して。サカナクションを再生します。
How every girl is coming, how they are stopping, how they are breathing, their attire, their background. Think about these things.
Spiel was von Daft Punk. Play some Daft Punk.
Here's Daft Punk.
What time is it in Australia? If it was Australian.
In this market, someone else is holding the phone. Someone else is telling what is on the phone, and the child is just listening. In the other previous markets, children are doing this thing on their own.
What time is it in Australia? If it was Australian.
Quelle heure il est en Australie?
But their shirt is same, their sitting background is kind of same, and all the other things which I was talking about.
À New York? London?
London.
In London, England, it's 9:05.
À Paris?
À Paris, France, il est 9h05.
Hamburg?
In Hamburg?
Different countries. Why all the clocks shows 9:05? What is the reason? Yeah, run a Google search. You will learn a thing or two. That's why it is. There is another time which they keep common. Yeah. So run a search. Yeah, it is not always 9:05. Yeah, and this clip is a little bit old also. So, but they have standard times which they run. Why is that? Yeah.
Deutschland ist es 5:05.
東京は何時?
日本の東京都の時刻は9時5分です。
Great. FaceTime Jen. FaceTime Lucy.
Okay, think about this. The guy changed, but the girl is same. So this time they are keeping the same girl in different markets. They are changing the guy, but they kept the girl same.
It's time, Jen.
Yeah, so see, the guy is different, the girl is this.
FaceTime Lucie.
The guy different, girl same.
FaceTime Katrin.
Again, the girl is same. So what is about her face? What is about her characteristics that Google think that in different markets they don't really need to change it? Yeah. And I think she's also wearing a ring, marriage ring or something like that. So seems like she's married to different guys. and in this market they changed the girl. So in 3 markets they did not change the girl, but in this specific Asian market they said that we need to bring in some Asian girl in this. Yeah. So look at that. But all of them are wearing this ring. Yeah. Quite a interesting. So reflect on this. Why all of this happens. Yeah. Another thing which I want to mention is that generally speaking, in business environments, we are saying that don't bring emotions in it. Keep it business, emotions and stuff like that. People don't recommend that. But in if you would look at these campaigns by international businesses, you would see that they are somehow trying to do things which are going to trigger your emotion or engage you in some type of emotions every now and then. They are trying to do things which somehow, why do they do that? Because they want to make the connection between their product and you. So if there is some emotional connect, then it is easier for the consumer to buy the product. So all these products or services which you like, or which you appreciate, or which you buy, if you will reflect on why are you buying it, it's quite hard, because you might come up with one reason why you are buying it, but if you go in your psyche, you might find some other reason why you are really buying some product. So it's quite complex. Even we don't really understand why do we buy something which many times we don't even want. Has this happened with you? You go to the shop to buy something, but when you come out, you have bought other things also, which you did not really plan. You just bought them. Yeah, why did you do that? Yeah, it's quite interesting area in international market. International marketers really spend time on this because they want people to buy their products and stuff like that. But what I wanted to say, that emotional connection and those type of things, very important, I think. So what are different, analyze global marketing advertisement strategies, linking them with concepts like uniqueness. Yeah. So they try to do something in their marketing campaign that their product is unique. It is one of a kind. It is different. Passion. Yeah. Some type of Nike, for example, they have their, they link it with passion and stuff, feelings, yeah, emotions, etc. Those type of things, if you are able to do that, your product is a little bit of it stands out in international market, and chances of success kind of increases. And now I want to show you couple of clips and maybe talk briefly about that. This is Huggies. Let's watch it. See what try to think what is really happening in the clip. Yeah, so I'm going to play it without the voice this time. Huggies, be happy. Yeah. See what happened. He's coming in the office. The boss is not happy, but he's smiling, and boss is rude, and he's saying, "Get lost" or whatever. But he's happy. He's not letting his mood off. Then maybe that was his girlfriend. All right, that's nice. And then his things are dropped, and he's not. There's nothing is frustrating him. His car is being towed, and he's still giving a smile to the guy, which we have never seen. I have never seen in real life. Right? Keys are dropped, gone, and he's okay with that. And he is why all of this happiness? Because he wears a nappy which is soft. So it is so soft that it keeps him happy, and no matter how the day is, and they use the child to do that. So quite a different style of advertisement there, if you can reflect on that. Pepsi, as this is one of my favorite brands, so I always like to talk about it. See what is happening there. And the tagline is "Joy of Pepsi." Let's run it again. It's quite a marvelous clip, the way I'm looking at it. A child again, they are using child in this one. He comes and he puts his money, and he takes a soda, and it is Coca-Cola. He puts it on the floor, and then takes one more soda and puts that one on the floor too. And now he stands on top of those. If you guys can see that, these are Coca-Colas competition. Stands on them. Now he can reach the button for Pepsi, and he takes it. And now the clever thing is that he has paid for those two Coca-Colas to get the Pepsi, and then he paid for Pepsi also. And as he goes, he is not picking up those Coca-Colas. He could have picked those up and used them in one way or another, but for him, the joy of Pepsi is too much that he can't even bother about these type of things. Yeah, so he paid for three sodas to get one Pepsi. So this is like very like how Coca-Cola is going to look at this. It's quite a disturbing thing for Coca-Cola fans and the company itself. So rivalry and those type of things they do. So just to make the conversation a little bit of balance, let's talk about Coca-Cola also. This is quite an interesting, campaign. Hug me. So they would place these type of machines in campuses, and people would say hug. See this, and just go a hug. And as they hug, the drink next. Yeah, that is quite an interesting campaign for this. Next one, I wanted to talk about this one. So in this one, you will see that the guy the girl is in some problem, and the guy firefighter goes in, risks his life, saves her, comes out, and then you would see what the girl do. We are thinking that some romance should happen after that. So we will have to wait what really happens. Quite an intimate moment there. They are like, girl, I'm sure girl is appreciating all the effort of the guy. But at that time, the company was also running a space collaboration with some companies. You would have to read in detail about that if you are interested, and see what happens now. All that effort of the guy is gone down the drain, and see how enthusiastically girl is running towards the astronaut, because the tagline is that
the Axapollo Space Academy. Join now at axapollo.com for your chance to go to space.
your chance to go to space. That was the advertisement they were running, and they are saying nothing beats the astronaut. And you can see there are other campaigns also which X was running at that time. And think about it. This one, maybe the voice will not very clear, and you really have to listen to the voice to really understand what really happened. So I am posting the link in the clip in the thing also. So if voice is not clear, you can play it yourself.
Hello?
Honey? Are you at the club?
Yes.
I'm at the mall now and I found this beautiful leather coat. It's only $1,000. Can I get it?
Well, sure, if you like it that much.
Okay. I also stopped by the Mercedes dealership and saw the new model. You know, the one I really like.
How much?
120.
Well, at that price, I want it with all the options.
Great. Oh, and the house we wanted last year is back on the market. They're asking 1.5.
We'll make them an offer. But come in at 1.4.
Okay. I love you, baby.
I love you too.
Okay, bye.
Does anybody know whose phone this is?
A sense of humor. So they linked it with this thing, and the tagline is unexpected financial problems. The phone did not belong to the guy, and he was giving all the things to the thing. Technology, same. You can do this thing now in your own time. The tips are there. You can do it in your own time. This one I really like this one. This was quite. I was not expecting this thing to happen.
Hi, come in. I'll quickly show you everything. He just said it's not, but you can still get a little bath. His bottles are here. Okay, cheeky, behave now. No complaints. We'll be back soon. Any comments, give me a call.
So initially I thought that the babysitter is for the baby, but that is not the thing. And the tagline is let us keep on dreaming of a better world. Yeah, quite an interesting twist in the twist, doing all these emotions, happiness, uniqueness, twist, all of these things companies are doing in their advertisement campaigns. And but generally on the other hand, they say that don't bring in emotions, don't bring in feelings in business business communication, or make it formal and stuff like that. But this is, if you look at it, if you look at even the earlier discussions, negotiation discussion, for example, cross-cultural communication, what is that? How much people are keeping it formal, and how important it is to build personal relationships. Yeah. Think about the other examples you guys were giving. This one is coming from Thailand. This advertisement, emotional marketing technique. It was quite touching for me, when I saw it. You can watch it in your own time, and all these clips are on the website, so you can always go back and look into this. This one is quite an interesting campaign. Always they had this campaign, like a girl, like a girl. So do things like a girl. Please run some search on that, and if you are not familiar with the campaign, get familiarized with it, and what are the things they were trying to do for for girls empowerment or equality and those type of things. So you would see these type of things, and not just always other companies are doing similar type of things. This one was quite interesting. Let me show this briefly to you. Here is a girl growing up. She is she's playing and experimenting and playing here, and but whenever she's trying to do something tricky, right now she's doing tricky, so her parents ask her, don't do it baby, you will get your hands dirty. Or now she's doing something, so again someone called her and said, please put it back. And now she's painting and she's growing up, she's painting, doing something and doing in her room, and parents come and now they are telling her, don't do that. And now she's drilling something.
Careful with that. Why don't you hand that to your brother?
Yeah, so she was drilling and her dad said, don't do it, baby, let your brother do it, stuff like that. And because she have had a scientific oriented mind, so but never did not get the encouragement throughout for one reason or another. And now she's in her school, college, and she's looking great, and she's walking in the hall where classes are, and she looks at this science fair. There is a science fair on Saturday. She stopped there, but let's see what she's doing here. And she's looking there, and you can see her reflection also on the glass. And what is she doing? She is just fixing her. She just fixed her. Yes, so I hope that when I was speaking about this clip inspire her mind, you are able to listen to what I was saying. But still, let me just go through again. So girl is growing up, she's trying to do different things in her life, but every time she try, someone stops her. Someone is stopping her right now to do what she's doing, and now she's playing with these things, and someone would stop her. And then she's obediently, she's a good girl, she put it back. Now she's doing something in her room, and someone comes and stops her, and she would stop.
It's gotten out of control.
Whoa, hey, careful with that. Why don't you hand that to your brother?
She wanted to, do drilling and stuff like that by herself, but then again, her dad said, give it to your brother, and this happened. And now she's here in her college, and see what happens. So she's stopping in front of this advertisement because she's scientific minded and she likes science. Stopped her and at science fair Saturday, but see what happens next. You can see reflection, and she fixes up her lipstick, and she's going away from that science thing. 66% of fourth grade girls say they like science and math. 66% that they like it. But only 18% of all college engineering majors are female. So from 66% likability to, by the time they are in college, only 18%. That's quite a shift. And why? Because of these things which they had shown in the clip. And this is, we are not talking about some specific country or something. Generally speaking, that is the world we are in. So girls many times they do not get the same type of opportunities which maybe the guys are going to get. Yeah, so it's quite an interesting. So this is again targeting this type of sentiment. Verizon. Yeah. So, and this one was always, if you will look at this clip, same type of thing they are talking about. Yeah, these were couple of clips I wanted to show you for for uh, for global marketing and how these companies are managing these. But coming back to you guys, my question is that what tell us which advertisement, which campaigns you liked. Maybe you can post the link in the chat also, so we can see that also as you talk, if you want that. Or you can just generally tell us why, which one you liked, why you liked it, what was the reason, what what do you think, what do you think made you like that advertisement or campaign, anything on those. Yeah, so please go ahead.
Trying to put the picture in the chat. I don't know if it works. Otherwise, I just have to describe it.
Yes, please go ahead.
It doesn't work. Anyways, so I was actually analyzing because we were talking about Pampers. Pampers, it's a poster. It's not a commercial. It's just a poster, and actually it was really simple. But once I was analyzing it, there was so much more to it. So it was like a woman. She just gave birth to her baby, and she was in hospital, and she's holding her baby, and it said "Love at First Sight." And while I was analyzing it, I understood that it actually had two meanings. So love at first sight, of course, for the baby, but also for Pampers. And it was like the mom was hugging the baby, and you can really like tell that, yeah, I think people can identify with it because everyone has been in that situation before. And it's so much more like, it's so much about love and trust and that safety and all of that the picture carried, even though it is so simple. And also like in the hospital that they actually use Pampers and not any other kind of brand for the baby is like, okay, the expert also used the brand. And yeah, you can really just it's so simple, but it has such a big effect because people feel involved in the picture. They can identify, and they actually, as you said, emotionalize with it, and it evokes an emotion and not just, okay, it's a picture and it doesn't do anything with me. So I think emotions are actually really like a really good function to make someone not necessarily like something, but to recognize something, because once you connect something with a emotion, it's more likely to stick in your head.
Very interesting, but just want to be careful with emotions also, because different people are going to react differently to different type of emotions. So it's quite a tricky business. But thanks for the comments, Elisa. Good point. Yes, next one.
So for me, I think also like it is important that the videos, the commercials are like maybe funny, relatable, touching, empowering, whatever. It is important to connect with this, but the most important thing in any commercial is that it gives you a type of a feeling of like demand. You have to feel like you need that product. Everything that is like when Coca-Cola shows you a product and they show you happiness, you see the product and you see happiness and you want happiness, so you think the product will give you happiness. So that's why people need to see like something that they think or they are convinced that they need. So that is one of the most important things in every commercial, and the best commercials are the ones that give you that feeling. Like the commercials you showed us, the ones with the very emotional, like the girl that couldn't go or didn't pursue her her science career, whatever interest. It was touching and inspiring, but I wouldn't look at the end like what product it was or what organization. It wouldn't interest me because it was touching, but I didn't see anything that I would need in my life. So I think these kind of commercials, they don't really bring attention to it.
Very, very interesting. Thanks for the comments. We enjoy the way your thinking style is very, very interesting. And thanks for sharing that with us. And this point which Vedan is talking about is that the need, the desire for the product. I think that is very interesting, because think about it. Many products you would see which men are going to use. Yeah, many products. But in those products, you would see that very attractive, beautiful girl is there. She has nothing to do with the product, but why do they have that? Why companies do that? It's kind of the same type of sentiment that you somehow think that if you consume that product, you would have that girl or whatever the lifestyle they are offering in the advertisement and stuff like that. So that is quite interesting that in the products which are aimed at men, they will use girls in it. Why would they do that? The same need, yeah, some type of that. So thanks for that. Next one.
Yeah, so what I would like to add is quite similar to what Bidan actually said, because apart from all that like creativity, passion, and emotion, what I consider really important is that the advertisement shows me a problem I maybe did not even know I have, and that the product is like the solution for this problem. So I don't know, simple example would be just that there is this Amazon Fire TV stick, which makes a smart TV out of a normal TV. And for example, my parents had an older TV, so I couldn't watch Netflix or whatever on the TV, but had to use my laptop. And then we saw this advertisement and we actually bought it. And yeah, it just like solved this problem. So I consider that really important because that arises a demand in me. Like I need to have it to solve this problem.
Very good. Thanks for that. Yeah, interesting point. Yes, guys, keep going, please.
Hi there.
Hi.
I would like to say something about advertisements I really like, but also which I don't like, and another thing which I think is really important. Maybe first of all, what I don't like are advertisements that feel very artificial or posed somehow. This is my personal opinion, as I feel it's not really related to the reality. It's just fake in my eyes. So I think there are a lot of examples concerning cleaning stuff. Like here's what I found on YouTube, but I will also post some other links so you can have a look at it later if you want to. But that's what I personally don't like. Or yeah, if it's just sometimes a very, very like huge advertisement, and I feel like this is way too much and doesn't relate to reality anymore. It's very exaggerated, and sometimes I think it doesn't fit. Yeah, you just see the way they look and they react, and especially in the end, it's a German advertisement, but yeah, it looks perfect right now. I feel like that's bullshit, right? You're kidding me. And I think in the end, she's like, wow, that was so easy and so fast. So I feel like, okay, that's bullshit. But on the other hand, I would like to show you an advertisement that is very popular in Germany, and I think also in Europe, because I actually got in touch with it when I was in Belgium in my semester abroad. It was shown as a very good example, and that's also because it connects to what Fidan said before about this emotional things, but not just that you feel emotionally touched by it. But it's about the family and Christmas time.
Excellent. Everyone watch this. Very good.
You know it?
Ich wollte nur kurz anrufen und dir Bescheid geben. Wir werden Weihnachten dieses Jahr.
I think you get the message.
Bestimmt. Fröhliche Weihnachten, Papa. Bis bald.
Fröhliche Weihnachten, Opa.
Yeah, so it's basically that the grandpa is alone for Christmas because no one of his kids and grandchildren has time to come.
Goes away. So many goals I had to reach. The more I did, the less I cared. The more I missed the love you've shared. If life is a song, somehow it's sad. Don't know the words without your dad. You've been on my mind all the time, and I miss saying you. Home used to be just some walls that I know, but the truth is that home means nothing without you.
Wie hätte ich euch denn sonst alle zusammenbringen sollen? Hm?
Papa.
Excellent clip, and that was the way the guy said that. How else I could have brought you? Yes, Tess, go ahead, please. Very good.
Yeah. There we all feel, or we have the feeling of belonging and family. I think that's a perfect example of what Fidan says. Like, it's not like something like this cleaning product you need, but you need this warmth and family. And so this is a very extreme advertisement, which has like millions of clicks, as you can see, and it's very popular and famous. Yes, but I also wanted to mention something in terms of marketing fails, especially if it comes to international marketing, and this actually happens to big brands. I would have never thought of that, but I was told also in my last semester by our professor in international strategic marketing that there happened to be mistakes by translating something. So here are some examples of big brands do wrong with just translating a message. So it just gets completely bullshit, and this is not very useful, or just because of the language itself. So I think there's some examples coming.
Translate their slogans into a different language, and it doesn't turn out as they want it to. International marketing fail number 1. When Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, opened their first restaurant in China in 1987, they accidentally translated their slogan from finger licking good into a rather embarrassing, we'll eat your fingers off. Fail number 2 comes from Pepsi. The mistake also happened when Pepsi entered China. Their slogan was Pepsi brings you back to life. However, this was terribly translated into Pepsi brings your ancestors back.
Yeah, so these type of blunders you might have to be careful about. Thanks very much for Tess, this one also. Yes, Tess, please go ahead.
Yeah. So this is what I got in touch with as well last semester. I thought it's very important. We are talking about big brands and across borders, across nations. So this is also to be thought of.
Excellent. Thanks a million, Tess. And Tess is very right in saying that as we reflect on what works for these international marketing, we really need to think about what does not work. Because we need to learn from their failures and so on. And this one is, you guys look at this one now. This is the one of the test selection. So look at this now. It's quite a big of a stain. It's not going to go just like that. I don't think so. But look at that. It's they put a new carpet. Yeah. So these type of things companies would do, and that is what Tess was saying, that she don't like these type of exaggerations. Thanks very much for all of this, Tess. Appreciate it.
Okay, so can I, or do you want to go on? I'm sorry.
Yes, please go ahead. Everyone, go ahead.
All right, thanks. First of all, I just wanted to say that I also agree with everything that is said. The best type of marketing is actually marketing that doesn't really feel like marketing, I think, where you don't have the feeling that the company just wants to sell a certain product. But I think it's very important that you have, as my colleague said, this feeling that you're part of a group or a movement or whatever when you use that product. For example, I think another great example for this is also Apple, because when they show their new features and everything is just moving very smoothly. This is just, it just makes you want the new product. But actually, I wanted to touch on another point as well, because we have already spoken about Tesla's marketing and that they don't really have a lot of spending in this for their company or their cars. And I think something that you should add, or that I find very impressive, is when you think about their newest car, which is the Cybertruck. I think a lot of you know what it looks like, but I can also post the link in the chat if you want, because this is yeah, it has a very unique look, and it just has a different style than the trucks, yeah, that trucks have all over the world. And actually, by this very simple look, I think this was just spreading all over social media, all types of platforms, because people were making memes or fun about it. And so this is actually also marketing that is just beneficial for the company and is totally free. So this is actually something that's, of course, very smart and also efficient, because everybody knows that there will be a new product, and that it, even though it looks different than usual, and maybe it's not for everybody, it's still, of course, a type of marketing, and people get to know the new product.
Yes, very good, Sebastian. And if you would look at the launch of that truck and stuff like that, you would see that the things were breaking and the glass would break when they would hit, all of that, those things. So maybe, you know, and look at the reaction of the guy, Tesla guy. He was very cool about it and all of that. So, but we don't know if it really happened or it was their way of, you know, marketing and just creating a hype and stuff. So a very good example, Sebastian. Those of you who are not familiar, please run a Google search, and you will find. Or maybe Sebastian can post it in the link for you guys to watch. Thanks.
Yes,
Thanks.
I will post it.
Yeah, okay, so I will go on now. I actually do agree with everything what was said before. And for me, especially, all the advertisements who like trigger emotions, especially the one that Tessa just presented, are really, really, yeah, convincing me of the product, I have to say. And also regarding the ads that we just watched, for example, the one from Apple about the iPhone 4, I think. Every time I see something that I think is really useful, for example, when they introduced the Siri, especially the example when when the girl was running and she wanted to listen to some music, it just like it's so useful for me that I think I need that right now, and then I often experience myself buying that stuff because I think every time I go running I could do this then, and yeah, so I think every time you connect it with a practical experience of the consumer, you will trigger them to buy the stuff. So if you connect it to real life experiences and everyday matters, it's a really good way to advertise your product.
Very good. Very good. Absolutely correct. Please reflect on these pointers which Lucia made. Thanks, Lucia.
Yeah, I would like to talk about advertisements, some aspect of advertisements in Italy and also in India. In Italian advertisements, there is the sense of family and togetherness and nationality are the few aspects that are always shown. For example, in all the Barilla advertisements of salsas and pastas, there are a happy family shown, and the traditional cooking is shown. And they also say in the end of the advertisement that Barilla nata sotto il cielo di Italia, which means it's born under Italian sky. So they always connect with the Italian audience with the sense of nationality, so that they feel that the product is their own, to make the connection. Whereas in India, there is no standard type of advertisement. Indians like entertainment, so they want a persuasive music behind the advertisement. They want known faces like Bollywood faces, actresses faces, and cricketers on their advertisement to get the attention of the viewers. And also one thing that I noticed, that in Italian advertisement, they also sometimes tell you the price of the product, like you can buy this bottle of shampoo in like 100 rupees. They tell you the current offers which are running on the products. For example, now this product you can buy like one and get one free, or you can get 50% discount on this product. So they always change the advertisement time to time with the offers. So that's the aspect I wanted to add.
Thank you very much, Mehak. Great examples, both of them. Like, think about it, like in your own culture, wherever you are coming from, do they do it like Italians? Like, would they put the price and stuff like that? They would do that. In some other cultures also, they do that type of thing. But generally speaking, we have not seen that much of a trend too much. But Mehak is telling us that in Italian, some products do that. For Indians, she's saying that, you know, the background music, upbeat music, that type of thing, of course depending on the product. But then she made this very interesting point that maybe Indians are going to use some famous celebrities, Bollywood stars. Bollywood is their film industry. So they would use those type of, you know, celebs, and this type of thing happen, you know, across the world. They try to use they want their product to be endorsed by these top people. So for example, if there is a whitening cream, you know, which is going to whiten your complexion, so in India and Pakistan, that type of thing is there, that people like, you know, the you and me might like the Indian complexion and stuff, but the Indians themselves, they prefer a little bit of a lighter shade. Generally speaking, everyone is not the same. So they would have, you know, a very fair, very, you know, a very white colored Indian model or actress promoting, you know, these type of products. So this is the ethics in this, because I have read or I have heard the interviews of some fair colored Indian models, Hollywood stars, and they were saying that we are not going to endorse that, because the color we have is not because of using that product. We just have it genetically, or whatever is the reason. But if people are going to see that I am endorsing that product, then they might want to buy it. So ethics and those type of things are also linked. So quite an interesting example, Mac. Thanks for that. Next one, please.
Yeah, I personally really like the Coca-Cola marketing campaign Share a Coke. There they had your name on the bottle, because I think that was quite like an approach to individuals, and it had a personal touch. I think in the US you could even print college logos on it. So it's, yeah, really made it a bit more individual.
Yes. Thanks very much, Julie, for that. They are kind of, they do this type of thing, which you are referring. Great point. Thanks for that. Yeah. Next one.
Hi, so I had another idea, a thought about how some commercials are like made like an experience in a way, like Super Bowl ones. People wait for Super Bowl to watch the play, to watch the show, but also the commercials. They wait for them, they Google for them, make compilations. It's like an entire thing that people really love. It's not even about the product, more about the brand awareness. People know about the brand. It's an entire thing. Like people are making a cult out of it, pretty much at the end of the day.
Oh yes. Thanks for bringing this point in our discussion. We were missing this. Super Bowl advertisement. They are really known. They bring in with strange ideas, and they make very interesting and many times controversial, advertisements run in that time. Super Bowl is an American activity, so you can run a YouTube search, Super Bowl controversial advertisements, and you are going to see so many of them, and they are interesting and worth watching, and you can reflect on them. Thanks Vicky for that. Yes, next one please, Rox.
So hi, I wanted to tell you about a Romanian company which produces chocolate bars. Most of the time they focus on comedy in their adverts and on focusing on the national values, or mocking people for some traits. For example, they did a commercial changing the flag. Usually on their chocolate bars it was the Romanian flag, and they changed it recently with the American one for a commercial, and said like, for the people who are afraid or are embarrassed to be Romanians outside, you can now eat the chocolate bar freely and happily in public. So yeah, I think focusing also on comedy in your adverts
Excellent.
can help you.
Excellent. Do you have any example of some of the Romanian advertisements which are like have a little bit of comedy also? Maybe we
I
can
can send you the American one because it's in English and people could understand it if you want.
Yes, you can post it in the chat, and people who are interested, they can maybe watch it. Thanks very much, Rox for that. And other people also, if you have any interesting clip, you saw any advertisement campaign or something, you can please post it in the chat so people can watch and reflect in their own time. Yes, Harsh Simran, please go ahead.
So I want to talk a little bit more about what you said before about lightening creams in India, because it's like the major products. I think everybody has this cream like Fair and Lovely in their house in India because they're so obsessed with it. And I think the main reason is their advertisements. They always show this person, man or woman, who is struggling. Like he or she has talent, but always ignored. They don't get job or like marriage proposals. And once they use this, so they get like job opportunities and everything. So I think this is very wrong. And some like and famous celebrities are endorsing this, and but few have taken this action that they are not going to endorse anymore. And also after Black Lives Matter question, because people like celebrities were posting about Black Lives Matter and people were questioning, but you endorse fair and lovely creams like fairness creams and skin whitening creams. So that's why Unilever has decided to not use skin whitening or fairness in their product, like these kind of words in their products, like they are using like glow and lovely, like they are changing the wordings in their products after this.
Yes, thanks very much for this pointer, and it really made me laugh also because Har Simran made a very interesting point that the way they will make their advertisement is that if you use this product, your color is going to become fair, and you will have a better chance of a better marriage, better jobs, and stuff like that. This is how they are, and people believe it, and people do that. So they see the emotional, they are fair and lovely. It's a quite big business. It's not like it's not a small business. They are international business. So they are somewhere things I can I can laugh on this and stuff like that, and I can enjoy it. uh, but think about it. It's quite a tragedy also if you reflect on this, because a girl who is maybe not very fair, uh, she wants to be accepted now, and maybe she's getting some rejections because of her color or the way she looks. And this happens in all societies. It is not just about India or anything. In every society there are set patterns that how a girl should look, and which features are more good looking and what is not. And in that, one aspect is color. A lighter shade is people think it is better. So for that girl who is going through that, you show her a clip and she sees that, oh, this girl used it and she's so fair, and then she start using it. Yeah, maybe she will get the results, maybe she will not, we don't know that. So this is quite an interesting thing, that emotions and stuff like that. Very interesting, thought provoking. Yes, Yoon, please go ahead.
Okay, I would like to add one more point. I think it's not mentioned yet. So before everyone is mentioning about emotions or logo or whatever, and I think good music or very catchy song is also very important. For example, in Malaysia, I know this brand is a coffee brand. It's called Ahwat Coffee. And in the advertisement, they sing a song and it's very catchy and very easy to follow. And I can hear, like, I think I heard about this advertisement when I was young, and I can hear that people around me, my friends, is singing this song. So yeah, I think it's kind of very good and very influencer advertisement. But unfortunately, it is in Chinese, but I can still post the link anyway, so you can listen to the song. So I think a catchy song is also one important aspect.
Yeah, thanks for that, Yun. Yeah, so yes, all of that, you would see that, the background music and stuff like that, that is important. So you have seen it in various advertisement. Mehak mentioned this, that the background music is very important. Same thing Yun is also mentioning, background music and those type of things. Yes, Lena, you want to say something?
Yes, just a comment on the advertisement that I like. I really like the Dow campaign, Real Beauty, that was made to empower women not to be insecure because the way they look. So it was independent of the race, weight, and so on and so forth. So they also showed the women how the advertisement is made and how much Photoshop is used in order to make this woman look perfect on the picture or on the billboard. And after that, I think many women felt a bit another way about the way they look. So like, I think it was empowering, and they impacted the society, not only promoting their product. And another thing, I also wanted to show you one video of the Grammarly. It's a software that was released in 2009 in Kyiv, and it is a use of artificial intelligence, natural language processing to offer the grammar checking, spell checking, and plagiarism detection. And these videos, they show different experience that people face challenges while writing email in a foreign language, writing a toast for the friend's wedding. And some stories are funny. Some of them are showing some sad moments. For example, how one employee was not promoted because he was writing emails with a lot of mistakes or misspellings and so on. And yeah, so like, if you watch this, you can recognize yourself, because like every one of us, we made first steps in the foreign language writing, and we felt these moments that, oh, I don't know which word is right here, or maybe there is a better synonym. So the Grammarly is actually suggesting you a better word, or suggesting you where to place the comma, or how to make the sentence sound and more like mother tongue speaker like. Yeah, so it's a nice advertisement.
Yes, very nice. I've seen this. I've seen that one. But guys, who have not seen that, Lena has pasted the link. It's quite interesting, as she explained it also. So please watch it in your own time. So thanks for these comments, and please reflect on these things. As I'm reflecting back, one point, I think it's really it really struck it. The thinking is really striking the way I'm thinking, that one of our friends, I think yes, Fidan mentioned that the need, somewhere you need to, all of these things you are doing, using music and emotions and all those things, but at the end of the day, as an international marketer, if you can somehow enhance the desire in the other party, that they really want it, they need it, they want it, that type of desire, if you can create that, I think that would be beautiful. So in your own time, reflect on this, how to create that need or create that desire in the target market. At the end of the day, I think it boils down to that. But there are many factors to this one. Take reflections from your marketing class if you have done it already, or maybe you will do it in the future, and think about that. Thanks very much. Good interaction so far. Next thing I want to discuss, and this is the question for you guys, and please participate in this conversation. Most of you have traveled. Yeah, most of you have traveled for maybe job, for internship, for maybe exchange. You have traveled for exchange in different countries, different universities. Maybe you just change your city, so you are coming from somewhere else and you changed it for job or studies, or maybe you are coming from some other country and now you are here in Germany and studying here. So all of us has somewhere in one form or another have gone through this thing, changing location from one place to another. Maybe when you are young, you change your country. Maybe you had to change your school for some reason. Maybe because parents got transferred, or they moved to another city and you have to move and you went to another city or another school. So any type of movement, change in location. Yeah. So please talk about that when you had to change the location, what were the challenges you faced? What were the obstacles? What were the difficulties you faced? How did you solve them? What did you like in that? What you did not like in that? All of those things you would want to discuss. And I know from your previous conversations that you are from different areas, Russia, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, India, all different places. Please reflect on this, that when you had to change your country, maybe what was the impact on you, what was the challenges, how you minimize those challenges, what did you learn from that, how can we minimize those type of challenges. If you change your school, you lose your friends, yeah, from the past school somehow. Yes, you can stay in touch with them, but now you are in a new environment, so you would have to deal with that. Changing jobs, you go to a new job, cultural change of the organization can happen. So any type of change in terms of location, in terms of environment, we want to talk about that. What are the challenges, what are the obstacles, what are the difficulties, how to minimize those. All of these things we want to maybe talk about based on what you would share. So please participate in this discussion. This is one of the last ones I think we would be having. And the topic is essentially international human resource management. International human resource management. And in that, when you are managing human resource internationally, you would see that you have to take care of these things, because human resources coming from maybe another country, or they are coming from another city, and the difficulties, challenge. So we would want to have that type of angle. But I want to build from your own personal experiences. What did you see? For example, one person was telling us, I think from the sixth semester, that they changed their city or something, and then in the new city they learned that the shops are closed on Saturday and Sunday in their environment, the place they were living close by. The shops, grocery stores, and these type of shops, basic needs, they were closed on in some country. I'm forgetting the name of the country, on Saturday and Sunday. So they were saying that it was quite a challenge for them, because they were used to do this type of shopping on Saturday or on Sunday, but they had to now adjust, and it impacted a lot on their. So it's a small thing, but then these small things matter. Another person was talking about language barrier. Another person was talking. But anyways, you guys talk about your experiences, and then we will see what we can learn. So please participate, everyone, as much as you can, because I'm sure that you have this type of experience, and just try to think something new which we might not have discussed so far. Yeah. So please go ahead. Yes, Sebastian.
All right. So just to start off general, I think when you are, it does not have to be like a constant move, but for example, for study abroad, Or in my case, I was, as I already mentioned a few days ago, in Thailand. I don't know how to pronounce it in English correctly, but I was there with the university for a few weeks where we just visited our partner university there and had classes there. And of course, it's just a difference. Of course, one big problem or obstacle was, of course, the language, because none of us, or we didn't like have one shared language, so we had to switch to English, which was kind of like a foreign language to both of us. So this was the first barrier that we had. But of course, it's just different when you think about the school system there, because they had a dress code where they were all wearing the same clothes, but we were allowed to dress however we want. So this was the first difference, which you of course just noticed on the outside by looking at each other. But of course, for us Europeans, the climate was of course completely different. So this is something that you have to think about. But many more things about the attitude or the behavior of the people. And as I already mentioned, I think one of the biggest barriers was the uncertainty avoidance, because it was just difficult in general, or in the beginning, to gain the trust of the Thai students. So it was rather difficult to start the conversation. After a few days or a week, this got better and better over time. But I think this is something that I won't forget, because for us, we just try to talk as much as possible, which then they thought maybe it was a bit, how do I say it? Yeah, it was just too extroverted for them. It was, we were in as I said, in a new environment. So they maybe thought that we would be better or have more knowledge about something, which definitely wasn't the case. So this is something, which I noticed there.
Excellent point, Sebastian. Beautiful point. Please reflect on this, because in international human resource management, you would be hiring people from other countries based on their resumes, and resumes are going to tell you their technical, skills and stuff like that. But these small things can make a lot of change. You bring in someone from international market in your country, and then they cannot adjust with the different attitudes of different people. Maybe they are the way they talk. Maybe when they talk, they like to touch other. Yes, Sebastian, please go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
that's okay.
I think that I've got a good story to tell, because we were at a German company in Bangkok, which was just which was operating there. It's called Wirt. They sell wait, let me just search for the English word.
That's okay.
1 second. So
as
they
Sebastian
sell screws,
yes,
and these things. And they actually said, or the CEO there, he talked to us and he said that it was very difficult to start the operations there, because there was a European man in front of them who they had to listen to, and who had the knowledge. And it just took time to build the trust to all the employees. And one thing that they did is, because in their society, the ranks are very important to them. For example, if you have a college degree or just a higher profession at your job. So they actually made up names that weren't even real. So they were like, I don't know, super manager or something like that, just to build the trust for the Thai employees, so they would have more motivation, or just trust them, and then it worked out much better. This is what he told us.
Excellent, great point. So I hope you guys were able to link it with your own observations or experiences. So in international human resource hiring or staffing, you would have to think about these things, that the person would be able to adjust or not, because in the interview they are going to, if they want to come in your country, they are going to say that yes, they will be able to adjust. think about the conversations about how difficult it can be to get visa and stuff like that, and you need sponsorship letter from the work to get the visa many times. So in that, sometimes people are eager to go and work in some other country and stuff. So in that, they are going to say, yes, yes, you are going to do that, don't worry about that. But when they are going to go in reality, then only they will know about these things which Sebastian is talking about. Other things like, if you are, for example, I am Muslim. So when I am traveling or I go there, I have to find, if I'm going to eat chicken or something like that, I need to find halal chicken or something. So if I go in some community where it is not available, that is fine for me, because then I will not consume this. I will eat something else. There are so many other dishes which I can consume. But then if someone is like this, that they want to have chicken, and they want to have halal if they are Muslim, and they want to have it kosher if they are Jews, and other type of things are there, so then it can be challenge for them. Or even if it is available, how far it is available from, all of those things. If they are going to come with family, it is not just they alone coming, their partner is coming, their children are coming. Children will have to change the school. If the children are maybe, maybe not fair, and the whole of the class is fair, or they are black and the class white, these type of things happen, these type of the problems come in those type of situations. Although we are in 21st century and whatnot, but people judge us by our accent, by our color, that is. And they are not judging by choice. It is not by choice. It just happens unconsciously, just like that. Before you even know, you will just make an assessment about the person. This is how it is. So think about all of these things. It can be quite challenging, because if the person come and he cannot adjust because of these reasons which Sebastian is highlighting, and he's right in all of those. I have seen it. I have seen many other people say similar type of things. You must have heard people say similar type of things. So it can be very challenging. So that is why many times they see that, okay, yes, you want to come, but what is your experience of the past? Have you done, have you been to any other assignments like this, or did you adjust and stuff like that? Many times people would not have any example, because maybe they have not formally worked in another country. So that is why I wanted to have this discussion with you guys, that you might want to go in international, some type of international environment. So in that, you can talk about these experiences, that yes, I went for exchange. Exchange was 6 weeks or 8 weeks. That is no problem. But these are the challenges I faced, and this is how I minimize those. Or I moved from one country to another, and although I was young, but these were the challenges I faced. Or these are the challenges I still face, but I have learned to cope with them. So these type of things you need to think about in international human resource and stuff. Other things like, you have read them in other courses, like the distance. When you are speaking, what is the right distance? Are you going to touch each other or not? Are you going to have a kiss or not on the cheek or whatever? So these are some things which people adjust, yes, but then they people like to do the things the way they are used to, and what is their norm. They would adjust for a time being, but if that is not their norm, they might not enjoy it too much. So these type of things you would want to think about. Thanks, Sebastian. Next one. Anyone can speak. Please go ahead.
All right, I'm not sure if he's able to go forward.
So, can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
I think I'm before you. Sorry. Or you are. Oh. I have been 7 years old. Germany. Well, I was a kid there, and I would like to mention this story because it's my first movement around in the world, and that's something special, at least for me. So when I arrived to Germany, my experience was like, oh, it's a new culture. There's a new language I do not understand. Everything is new. I don't have any friends. And my old friends, they're so far away. I miss them and I don't know what to do, and it is difficult, yeah. So the big shock for me it provoked the necessity that I needed to adapt, especially when I came to the first school. I needed to learn German language. So the question is, how did I overcome the cultural shock? Well, my answer to this is step by step. I engaged with a local person. I learned the language step by step, and I stick this all tight with my family because I needed someone who I could trust and where I could feel well and where I could feel this warmth Tessa has been speaking about. That is a human necessity. Well, then I think the most important thing coming to a new culture or new country is to accept the culture and just to put away for a moment your own culture and participate in it. That means having your friends, go to a sports club, go to events of this culture, and just try to get into this feeling of this culture, yes? So what did I like? Well, it was a new direction in my life and horizon and many new possibilities. I like these opportunities that I got from this and the cultural experience I could get as well. What I did not like, I think the most important thing is the cultural dissonance. And this is because I had 7 years of other context inside me, and the people with whom I communicated did not understand me, and I did not understand the people. That made the communication really difficult, especially if you consider that my language was not so good. So in early years to make new friends, it was really hard. And I think the most important thing here is just to learn about the context of the culture, so you can adapt with more ease. I did not do that, and therefore I had a hard childhood here. But today I learned a lot.
Excellent point.
With international human resource management, the context, what I want to tell for the international human resource manager, I think it will be important to give the person that you invite in your country someone who will give him this feeling of trust, someone who will help him in every situation, who will help him with the language, with every situation that is necessary, especially in the first few weeks, that could be really necessary. Yes, and another really important thing is a success factor for everybody here as well in this class. I just wanted to share it with you. The most important factor for success is who with 40%, when with 30%, what with 20%, and how with 10%. So if you come to another culture, make sure firstly to get connected with the people, because the person, the who, makes 40% out of your success. Success in whatever you want. For example, the adaptation to the new culture. That's it.
Amazing. Loved the points. Really like your way of thinking, Vlad. Very good. Excellent. So please reflect on all these pointers which Vlad has mentioned, and he gave his personal example there. And we have seen this. We change place, and then we are not in touch with our friends again the same way, like on the daily routine, because they are somewhere else, and then now you have to make new friends, and uh, it can be very challenging how to make friends. And think about it. When is the last time you guys made anyone your friend? Was it today? Did you made any new friends today, or yesterday, or a week before, or in this month, or the last month? So generally speaking, that is not how it is. Generally speaking, we have made friends like in the past, and we just that is the friendship we have. Especially if we are not changing location and jobs, we have the same type of people. We are meeting every day, and we have established our friends, 2, 3, 4 friends, and then we are just with them all the time. So these things can be quite challenging. One thing, all the things were great, but one thing I really want you to make note of what Vlad said, because I have also made the note for myself. Yeah, so I would want you to make that note also. So Vlad is saying accept the culture. Accept the culture. You don't have to like it. You don't have to love it. Nothing like that. You are just in a new place, new environment. Just accept the new environment, new place as it is. Whatever it is, you don't have to like it. Accept it. Yeah. And then he was saying embrace it. Yeah. So I think that strategy is very powerful strategy. It might sound very simple, and I'm not sure if you can relate with this or not, but next time whenever your location is changed or you have to go to some other place or whatever, and you see yourself complaining a little bit or missing home or something like that, don't do that. A little bit is fine, of course you are going to miss home, so a little bit of that is fine, but generally embrace the situation as it is and react in the way what the situation requires you. You don't have to love it, like it, or what. Just the situation requires you to do something, just do it that way, by acceptance. That is, I think, very interesting point. And with friends and those type of thing, I was talking with Ad the other day, and he was referring me a book, which is a great book, How to Influence Friends and Win Friends, something like that. I've read that book in the past. That book really helped me. So if you guys are interested in that, how to win friends, how to influence people, I would request Vlad, please, if you can post that YouTube clip, at least which gives a summary of the book. I think it is 10-minute long. So guys, if Vlad is posting that, please watch it in your own time. It kind of gives you a summary. So do those things if you can in your own time. And then if it is really interesting to you, I think maybe you can read the book also if you want. How to win friends and how to influence people, something like that. Yeah, very good. Next one.
Okay, so I wanted to add something to the manager's perspective when sending somebody abroad. First big point would be that it's really important that the whole surrounding joining the guy or the employee you're sending also kind of wants to go abroad, because what I experienced in an internship was that let's say company send somebody abroad and he was a really he was fitting the needs of the company there, but the family of him was not playing the game, and they didn't want to go to another country. And what happened was, in the end, that really demotivated him, and he quitted the work abroad because of that. And that's something that many managers in HR don't take for granted or don't see as an important thing, but it really is in the end, because if your employee is not happy because of the family being disappointed by the sending, you lose everything basically, because you would lose the drive of the employee. So. And another thing for me, or what I experienced, was that companies don't pay enough attention to the leveling of salaries when sending people abroad. Some companies just do plain salaries for everybody they send abroad, and they just add a bonus for the stay in the other countries. But what happens in practice is that if you're sent to a country with a really low wage level, you would live like a king. And if you send somebody, let's take the States, where everything is quite expensive, he would be that would be insufficient in the end, because you're not treating everybody equally if everything's more expensive.
Very, very interesting points. Think about these, the more sometimes people would just be allocated to international assignment as Luca is mentioning. So do they really want to go? What is their ambition? Because if they would really be interested in this expatriation, this job, then if they would really want to go and they are motivated for the job and those things, their desire, the need, they feel that thing in them, then then the challenges which you guys are mentioning, various different challenges which comes when we change the location, they would look at them very differently because they wanted to do that, they are motivated to do that. So in that, if a challenge comes, your reaction is different. On the other hand, if you are already not feeling it and then you have pressure from families and it's a different weather and the food choices are different and you don't have new friends there, because it will take time to make friends and stuff like that. So in that, then when the difficulty is going to come, you are going to really be not won't be in the mood to really solve them to the best of your capability ability. So these things you should keep in mind. And in that, what Vlad was saying is quite interesting, that Vlad mentioned, accept the new lifestyle, just accept it. If you will dwell in the past, keep thinking about how it was there, and then you are not liking it, then it will impact your work, and eventually whole of the assignment is going to not really work out how it was supposed to. These are small things, but need to think about these. Yes, next one, please.
Yes, I also wanted to mention a couple of things regarding culture shock. And there are a couple of, I think there are 4 stages. And the first one is the honeymoon period, where everything is super nice and everything is very interesting and everything's great. But we've had a course last semester, and the professor was very adamant on the following information, and he said that the nearer your culture to the expats, to the new home land culture or whatever, the bigger the shock is. And I was like, yeah, that can't be. And speaking from experience, like my home people's culture is very similar to Austrian's culture, and I was like, Austria is pretty much Germany, so I'll manage it. It can't be that bad. And after like a year, there were a couple of really tiny things that stuck out, and I was like, okay, this is weird but acceptable. Okay, this is still weird but acceptable. And a very specific example would be that back home, people are very vulgar, and they don't do that because they, I don't know, like uncivilized or whatever. It's just a type of stress reduction mechanism. And I kind of miss that here. So it's just a really tiny thing, but I don't know. Just that's what I wanted to mention.
What did you mean when you said vulgar? Can you give example? What is vulgarity?
Yeah, vulgar, like even in the at the workplace or something, it is very common to use bad words, like to exaggerate some things or whatever, and that's very common. And ever since I've moved here, I think my usage of bad words dropped by 99% or something.
Are you missing that, Balaz?
Well, I would lie if I'd say no, so
yeah. See, so this is how it is, because it is not about and thanks very much for being honest with us, because that is how it is. You use certain type of terminologies, and by using those bad words or vulgar words when you are using in Balaz's home country, it does not mean bad necessarily. They just use it. It does not really mean, the word is not literally they meaning it, but it is just a habit, a lifestyle of some communities that they like. Even with friends, they would use a little word with them. They don't mean it, but they enjoy doing that. Yeah. So some people say that even that kind of creates some type of bonding or association. And Balaz is saying that he would be lying if he says that he does not miss that. So this is quite interesting example that these small things many times impacts your overall lifestyle. Thanks for sharing that example, Balaz. I was really not thinking on those lines, so you really added to the discussion. Yes, next one.
So I want to tell about something that happened to me during my exchange, like during my semester abroad in Spain. So in the university, I attended classes in English and Spanish, and in the Spanish ones, I was almost surrounded only by Spanish people. So yeah, it was a really interactive class, but in comparison to here, where we just raise our hands and wait for like our turn to talk, they did not. So everyone was just speaking whenever he had something in mind, and they interrupted each other, and every conversation turned into a discussion because they were so passionate about what they were talking, no matter about what it was. So that was something I had to get used to, because at first, like in Germany, it is considered polite to let people speak and then speak after them. And yeah, this is something to be aware of, because that could for sure result in conflicts, like international human resource management, but also just like in international business. So this communication style or behavior in conversations.
This is very interesting point, Julia, and thanks for bringing this up. So now reflect on this. What is the right way? Maybe the right way is this, that we should work in a civilized manner, and maybe raise our hand and wait for our turn, and then one after another it gives some type of some type of layout to the discussion. So maybe that is the right way, that, but it is not, maybe, because think about it. Maybe we are saying something, and there is someone who is listening to the conversation in this room, and they did not raise hand, and they don't plan to speak, but we are talking about something, and something comes in their mind, and they say, oh, let me tell this to them. Now they cannot, because maybe the culture has been that you should not speak without raising hand, and you should. So we lose that participation, because participation does not happen one after another and another. Innovation does not happen like that. Innovation, new idea generation, that is not systematic. It is systematic, but it is not systematic. It is not one after another. It is random. Random experiences, random thoughts, random things come together, and they trigger something new. Yeah, so it has a system, but it does not has a system. So to think about it, even a thing like this, that we might say from the outside that this is good formal way, but even these type of things has merits and non-merits and stuff like that. So you really have to think about it, especially in international context, international entry, market entry, international hiring, which is the right way to enter, which person to hire and which person not to hire. It's quite a challenging thing to really do it, and then to be able to successfully do it again and again. So I really encourage you guys to look into these top companies, like we have been talking about. You guys mentioned Nestle, Procter and Gamble, these type of companies, big companies, and there are many in your region, in Germany and outside in the Europe. So see, how do they hire? What are the things they take care of before hiring? And this type of information is available online if you want to really listen to this. What are the things they keep in mind? What are the challenges they face? How they minimize those challenges? Those type of practical examples, when you will be listening to them, I think they're really going to give you a lot of knowledge how they are doing. Yes, next one. And those of you who have exchange experience or something like that, that is also part of this. So if something is coming in your mind, please share with us. I think it would be valuable for all of us. Yes, Lara.
Yeah, I was working in New Zealand as a nanny, And I remember when I arrived there, I just went to the wrong side of the car because they have the left-hand traffic. And I was like really afraid to drive through the left-hand traffic. But then I think you just have to be brave enough and to try it. And after a while, I was comfortable with it. But also in the beginning, I didn't understand my host dad because he had such a strong New Zealand accent. And I was just used to the school English. Yeah, that were the first difficulties, I think. But then also my host mom, she was from Singapore and her parents were from Malaysia and my host dad from New Zealand. So there were so many cultures in the family. And yeah, there were a lot of, yeah, I don't know, discussions and everyone was so different. And also with my host mom from Singapore, it was sometimes difficult because yeah, German culture is more directly. And when I asked something, for example, about the wage or something, she was like really, yeah, not that, I don't know how to explain, but yeah, she didn't like it. And she was just saying it in a really different way when she had problems and I didn't understand what she wanted to say. So yeah, there were also the culture barriers. And yeah, I think that was my experience. But in the end, everything was fine. And it was quite easy to find friends because there were so many people which traveled there. So the environment was like really open-minded and everyone wanted to find some friends. And also the New Zealand people are really open-minded. For example, when you're in the street and you don't know where to go, actually they really come fast and ask you, oh, do you need help? Should I help you where you want to go? And it's quite different to Germany.
Mm-hmm. What took you there? You are talking about New Zealand, I think. Why did you go there?
I was there after my A levels because I was working there as a nanny and yeah, I just wanted to have the experience of another country and wanted to improve my English and travel a bit around the world and yeah.
How did you get that job of nanny? What were the requirements? How did you apply? Anything on those lines, if you can tell us, please?
Yeah, I was there with an organization. So yeah, they helped me to find the right family. In the end, it was not the right family. So after 5 months, I broke up with the family. But yeah, and yeah, I needed some experience with children. So, but that was fine because I did a lot of babysitting before, and I worked in the hospital with babies. So that was fine.
And then after 5 months when it did not work out, did you stay in New Zealand or you had to come back?
Yeah, it was a really hard decision for me because I didn't know what to do then. But then I just said, okay, I will travel around New Zealand. And then I worked there as a cherry picker afterwards to save some money again. And that was really, really nice because there were so many cultures, like from Japan, South Korea, France, Italy, like from everywhere. And it was really fun. Yeah, and then I traveled to South America.
Amazing, amazing. Lovely story you have there. You quite a good experience you have. Very nice. Lara, tell us this. If there is any based on your experience and you work kind of international hire, so you have seen it all on a smaller level, but yes, it's the same experience is experience. So tell us that if there is any international business and they want to do international hiring, what are 2, 3, 4 major things which you really need to consider? What makes an international hire uh, successful and what makes it not successful? Any major things which you have picked up? Because this is a good example. You went there, you worked for 5 months, and then I'm sure it was challenging in those 5 months also. You guys were just together, but maybe you guys realized that after 1 month, 2 months, that it is not going to work, and then eventually it did not work. So even from that, if you can tell us that, what are the 3, 4, 5, 2 things, 3 things, whatever you want to say, that guys, please take care of those in international hiring. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be open-minded so that you're okay with other cultures. Yeah, and I think also the language is really important. Yeah, because in the beginning I didn't understand everything, what really was a barrier. And yeah, I don't know what else to say.
That is fine. You have said it all. So your first point is open-mindedness, and I think even if we just stick with that, I think we can make ourselves successful in international market. Open-mindedness, that is, it might sound like a simple word, but it says it all. Like, you have to be open that people are going to, do things differently, and you are new, you are open to their food, you are open to their customs, you are open to the way they greet you, you are open to all the things.
Yeah, I think you should be really interested in everything. I think that's really important.
Yes, yes. So once you have that type of openness, so if a person is very talented and stuff like that, but they are not really open to new way of new lifestyle, they have their particular type of food and they want to eat that food and they can't eat anything else, and it's hard for them to make new friends. They are not open to new friendships. They are not open to new ways of communicating or stuff like that. It becomes harder for them to adjust in a new setting, new environment. Because think about it, our layout of our session is kind of discussion, participation, crosstalk, that type of thing, which generally people don't do this. Usually it is one way communication. So you guys were not used to it, but over a period of time, is it the case that you participate in one way or another? And I'm not talking about participation does not mean that you talk all the time and every now and then. No, that is up to you. But if it is a case that the week has gone, 7 days are gone, 8 days are gone, and you did not even say one line or two lines, then it is the thing that you did not embrace the new environment. That openness was not there. But if you even said one or two lines, that is fine. Because everyone takes time to adjust. On the other hand, there would be some people who would be very open, very willing to share their ideas and stuff like that and come. So that is openness. Openness is there or not. And then again, I'm reminding you to what other friends said before, that accepting the culture, openness, that type of thing, very important. Any other thing, Lara, you want to add? Or
No, that's everything.
thanks very much. Thanks very much, Lara, for sharing your story. Yes, next one.
So I also had like the experience like Vlad. I also moved to Germany with my family when I was 6 years old, and the thing is, like everyone says, it is easier to adapt to new culture and new language and everything when you're a kid, and that is also true. Like I had it easier to learn the language than my parents did and everything, but still, as a child, you don't really have like, you can't make the decision. It's not like they ask you, do you want to have this experience? Do you want to go there? Do you want to learn all these new things? Do you want to leave your friends there? And that is something that I find is maybe sometimes also really hard for children when they have to move and they don't really understand. Like I didn't understand then why we moved to Germany. Like I thought everything is okay there, and maybe we're only here for a short amount of time, and then it was like forever. And I was in my hometown, I was in school for like 1 month or two, I don't really know. And then we moved here. At first, I didn't go to school because like paperwork and everything. And then I was just thrown in the first class, like end of first class in German class. And I was like so lost. I didn't know one word German. And I was just sitting there and everyone was looking funny because like, why doesn't she speak? Why doesn't she understand? And that's, I had problems like making contact in the beginning because of that, but also because I could learn it more faster than my parents. It was also easier with time to find friends and everything and adapt to the culture. And I'm also grateful for all of that extremely, but I still think that it is hard on children to make this kind of decisions without maybe really explaining beforehand what is going on to this child.
Very, very thought-provoking, Fidan. Like always, appreciate your comments. Thanks for that. So think about these things. You are doing international hiring, and that person has maybe children. And yes, we say that children can easily adapt and adopt and stuff like that. But still, it can be hard for them. So maybe they are doing well in school back home, but they change of environment, change of so many different things, and it can impact their studies also. Other type of things can happen. So these things you would want to think about. I would like to link it more with international trade, international business. So for example, uh, I my thought. I really lost it. Yes. Good comment for Dan. Yes, next one.
Okay, so I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience in the USA. I went there when I was 15, so I was like relatively young, and I just went there for a year and went to high school. And so I was really young, and that was very much to handle, but I would say I handled it really well, and I adapted pretty quickly. Of course, there were times where I missed home, but I got through that relatively good. And I think why that was the case was my host, because they were really nice. I still have contact to them, and they really tried to make me feel like home. We traveled a lot, and they wanted me to experience like everything that was American. So like 4th of July, Christmas, every holiday. We went to Disneyland and all of that, and to concerts. Yes. Also, I went there. I obviously was in contact with like a how do you call organization, and they really tried to prepare us for that big step, I would say. So, for example, they told us to definitely not talk about politics and religion because that's a like really sensitive topic in the US. So, for example, if my host family were Republican and I was like a Democrat, and I would say that I supported the Democrats, they could like possibly, it happened, throw me out of their house and say, no, we don't want to have to do anything with you. But my family, they were really open-minded. They also were really interested in the German culture. So they said, yes, let me show you our culture, and I want to know more about Germany. And yeah, so that was my experience.
Great experience.
Yes.
Madeline, can you tell us more about like what helped you to adjust to the new environment? What lessons you can tell us, our colleagues here, that okay, if you have to adjust, you have an international job or something like that, these are the 2-3 things you should maybe do, or anything on that?
Okay. I was like I was so young, so I think that was why it was also really easy for me, and I really wanted that. So I don't know, and I guess you know that there is an end to it. So okay, in 12 months I'll be home, everything will be back to normal, and so I'll just have to make the best out of it, and yes, really try to focus on the things you should not do to adjust, and really, like everyone said, be open-minded, like really try to experience all of that, and don't have any prejudgment, I would say. Just let
Very,
everything come, and everything will happen the way it's supposed to be, and you will get through that, like you will get home, and yeah, it can be really fun to
yeah,
experience new things.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very good, very good. Excellent point. Our friend used the word don't have any prejudgment. I think that is very important. So when you are going into some new location, of course you are, because we are in the times of internet, so we are going to run a Google search and see what is there, and we would have some type of judgments in our head. So I don't think that is a good idea. It is good to do the research and those type of things, but when you really go in the culture and when you start talking and engaging ideas with people, only then you really really know, what is what. So thanks very much, Madeline, for that. Earlier on, when I was reflecting on the points Fidan made, they just took me somewhere else. So I lost train of my thought. So I got it back now. so the thing I wanted to say is that I want to link it with international trade. So international businesses. So in the interviews, they are international businesses going to ask, do you have children, do you have family, or you are single, or whatever. So in some laws, some clause, some laws in some countries, you are not supposed to, you are not legally bind to answer this question. So you can skip it. Same is for your ethnicity. When you are filling the forms, you can skip it if you don't want to answer that question. Yeah, these things are there in some laws. But for a company which is going to hire you or me or hire us, they would really want to know these things, like, are there people dependent on us, or what age group they are, because they know that they are going to come with the person, and their experience, those dependent people's experience, is going to shape if we are going to enjoy our work or not. So for international business, they would prefer that if someone is single and they don't have any obligations, and they are like, it's relatively easy when you have other people dependent. So that is the point I wanted to make. So laws and the law, what the law says, do you really have to answer these type of questions? That is one aspect of law. But then for international businesses, they really want to know what is what. So and at the end of the day, they are going to find out. Otherwise, if you don't answer them properly, they are not. Although the law says that you don't have to answer this, but you will have to answer it. Otherwise, the company can just reject you for some other reason. They might not tell you that this is the reason, but they are not legally bound to tell you that why they did not hire you. So you have to. So I would say that even those questions which say that you don't have to answer them, it is my thinking. You can have your own thought on this. I would say fill form. Tell them if it is not something which which is really your personal thing, and you really think you should not tell anyone, then maybe it is different. But otherwise, all the columns, whatever it is, fill it. Especially if you don't have any obligations, which I don't think we have. Maybe one or two people in the room maybe have that type of responsibility of other people, but generally we don't have these responsibilities. So it would be an advantage if we file that in the when we are doing the documentation, that yes, we don't have those type of issues which might face if you hire someone who has family and stuff like that. And this age contrast was very interesting, because Vedana is saying that she was kind of around 5, 6, 7, something like that, when she's coming from Azerbaijan, and our Madeline is saying that she was 15 when she went there. So think about these things, how linked they are. So although they are our private personal lives, but when we would be applying for international jobs, companies are going to look at these things and make evaluations based on that. Yeah. Yes, next one, please.
So I want to share an experience I had when I was in 6th grade. My mother is from Norway and my father is from Germany, and I've lived in Germany most of my life. But in the 6th grade, I was going to school in Norway for a couple of months, and in Norway, everything is really informal compared to Germany. Like in Germany, it's really important to address people, and especially teachers or people who are higher than you in the hierarchy by their last names with sir and so on. And in Norway, it's really common to just address people by the first names and also teachers. So for me, that was really different when I came there, because I went to school in Germany my whole life, and that was the thing I was used to. And then I adjusted to this really quickly and got used to speaking like in a more informal way to people. And when I then came back to Germany, it was really weird for me. And in the beginning, I kind of made this mistake to address people by their first names. And as I just mentioned, it's kind of considered impolite in Germany. And I think that's also something that you have to be aware of in a business context, or when you hire people, that there are just different styles of interacting, like formal and informal styles. And that this is something that can actually be considered like a bad thing or a rude thing to do, even though the intentions are good and you don't mean any harm by it. So I think that's just a thing to be aware of. And for me, it's really interesting, as I have experienced it myself. And every time I visit Norway now, I have to say I really enjoy the informal style, because I think it's just kind of nicer. But of course, yeah, every country and every culture has its own, habits and things to ways to do things. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. I also want to share about my experience about school in different countries. And Elisa, from a point of view, Germany school is more formal. But in my opinion, compared to my country, Malaysia, German school is more relaxed. So I was here for school exchange program. I attend like the 11 or 13 or 12 classes, so the higher level school in Germany. And for me, it's more relaxed here in Germany, because it is weird for me that the teacher can even talk about when talk to the student when they want to have their exam, and in Malaysia it is set and you have no voice about it. And during the class, if is the professor there? Yeah, okay. So for example, during the class, you want to go to toilet in Germany, you just stand up and you leave the class. I think you don't have to tell the teacher. And in Malaysia, if you want to go toilet, you can't just leave the classroom like that. It will be seen as very rude. If you want to go somewhere or leave the class, you have to inform the teacher in the class. And we also don't move around the classes. In Asia, we have our own class, and you always have your own seat, and every day you sit at the same place. You have your neighbor, it's the same every day. And in Malaysia, we even have Teachers' Day, and I think it's very weird for the German, because I told my German friends that today is Teachers' Day in Malaysia, and they are very shocked, like, why there's Teachers' Day? Because teachers, this is their job. It's nothing to celebrate. Because for us, teacher is a person who give us knowledge, so we respect teachers a lot. And I think the power distance in Malaysia between teachers and students is also very high. And another example is when you want to speak during the class, in Malaysia you have to stand up and speak, and in Germany you just speak and you sit down and speak. So for me, it's very weird. When I was in Germany, for example, when I want to go to the toilet, I find it super weird to just leave the class. I think it's so rude, but actually it's not. So yeah, this is my part of my experience.
Yeah, very interesting. And please reflect on both of these comments, first by Alicia, and she's saying Norway and Germany, and even when she go back, there is some adjustment she's looking for. So people would know their culture, but if they go to some other culture, some other country, and that new country is different, if they have to go back in their own home country, it can be difficult for them to adjust. Those are things called adjustment issues in repatriation. So one thing is expatriation, when you are going out of your country, Repatriation is when you are coming back to your home country after that. And think about this all. Both Alyssa and Yun are talking about Germany. But one is saying that Germany is easygoing. The other is saying that Germany is kind of very formal. So one is viewing Germany as informal, another one is viewing Germany as formal. Depending on which country you are comparing it, you are comparing it some country like Norway, or you are comparing it with some country like Malaysia. This is quite an interesting pointer which you guys have mentioned. So thanks for that. Let me share the screen. So when you will be going through these readings in your own time, if you are interested, global human resource management, these type of things you would be thinking about. For example, labor laws, compensation practices, and one of our friends spoke about, the pay scale and stuff like that. Different type of staffing policies are there. Please spend some time in understanding the theoretical, definitions and stuff like that. But remember that, expatriate failure rates is quite high. You can just run a Google search right now if you want that, what is the failure rate of expatriates, how many people fail in their jobs outside of the country, how much money companies lose in all of that affair, and what are the problems of repatriation when they come back. Although you might think that they are coming back to their home country, but then again it can be problematic for that. Just like Yun mentioned that in Malaysia, different style. When she's here in Germany, different style. And now she kind of likes the style of Germany, whatever is happening. And when she will go back, if she decide to, it might be a little bit of challenge. She might question the things like, why can't we do it like that? So those things can be very interesting. Very good examples you guys have said. So expatriate selection, what are the things we should think when we are selecting someone for these type of jobs? Some type of training they will require. So your book is going to talk about different type of trainings, cultural training, language training, practical training of living in that new culture. Sometimes companies would invite the person to the new country. Companies would do that so they can spend some time in the new environment and see what is what. But then again, that is very expensive exercise. And how many people can you invite who can really live in the new country before they really take the job? Maybe for very top high level official, you can maybe do that if that is what they want. But for general hiring, that is many times not possible. Please look at this figure which Vlad has mentioned. Research from INSEAD shows failure rates could be anywhere from 10% to 50%. If you would look more deeply, you will realize that sometimes the numbers are more towards the higher end, which is 50%, and they are not very close to 10% most of the times. So this is quite like you are talking about half of the times you will be successful, half of the times this would fail. And why? What are the reasons? Essentially, it's very hard to judge people in interviews. In interviews, people are going to say something else. They are going to tell you the answers which they think are the right answers. So those you need to know judgment of people. How do you judge people? You listen to someone, and how do you decide that they are saying what they are saying is truth, or they are just making up? How do you learn judgment of people? The more people you will engage with, the better your judgment will get. How will you learn it? You will learn people judgment by not judging the people in the right way. In other words, through your failures, you are going to learn human judgment. So you will judge people, and then you will realize you are wrong. They are not what you thought they are, and you will learn it after a period of time. And as you will make more of those mistakes over a period of time, your judgment will improve Will it go to 100%? No, it will never go to 100%. There are people who are going to, who are still you won't be able to figure out, and nothing is wrong in that. It is hard to understand human beings because we have brains, and brains are very tricky. This is very tricky environment up there, so it is hard. But the more you will expose, I think the better you will get in this different nationalities, how open they are to expatriates, foreigners. That is again another thing you would want to think about in global human resource management. Some countries are more open to foreigners, other countries are not very open. Some countries are more similar to other countries in terms of their practices, religious practices or ethical practices, whatever you want to call that. So between those countries, the international hiring is relatively easier. So you would want to look at that. Some examples are there in your reading. For example, McDonald's. But you don't have to read those examples. You just look at any company which you like and try to understand how they do their international staffing. What are the things they keep in mind? And I think that would be good enough. Of course, different laws, different environments in different countries, so you have to be mindful of what the laws of those countries are, because a lot of documentation is involved in international hiring. So for that reason, taxation rates and stuff like that, you might be paid more in an international job, but maybe at the end of the day you would not get all of those pay, because maybe the tax rate is very different in that country. Maybe the tax rate is very high. You need to think about those things, reading the contracts in detail. And also, if you are preparing the contracts, if you are working for the international business, you have to be mindful of these things. Other things like, can we buy people or not? That is an interesting question. At least I find it. Can we buy people or we cannot buy people? Are people for sale or we just buy their services? And I'm not talking about just in the context of Europe. I'm talking about international, like global world, whole world. What is the perception of different managers when they have hired you? Do they feel that they own you now? To what extent they feel that? Yeah, so in different atmosphere, that is going to be different. So generally I show this clip in the session, and then I start from there, how the conversation goes, and then do this activity which we did. So but in your own time you can watch this clip and make your own analysis. I definitely want to show you this one. I've turned down the volume. You can listen to the details what Marissa Mai, a very accomplished girl, there, she's saying. But this is what I wanted to talk about: human burnout. Look at this, what is happening. So this guy is really frustrated now, and his job has burned out. So this is what he's doing in the office. This is not a movie or something. This is reality. This happened. Yeah. So, and you can just run a Google search and just type employee burnout, and you will see a lot of clips which will show you how what employees do when they are not happy. Look at this, and the one what this guy is doing. Look at this one. The girl is talking, and he just comes and he just is breaking the phone. Yeah. So these things are reality. So you need to take care of this also when you are dealing with human resource, that you don't want to give them too much of a work that they burn out. On the other hand, you want to take maximum out of that, because that is how you are going to make your international business successful. So these are some things which I wanted to discuss. This one is very interesting clip. Please watch it in your own time. How should you do promotion? Should you do promotion based on some skills which people have gained, or should you promote them because they have qualification, they have the degree? So skill set versus qualification like bachelor's, master's, and stuff like that. Different countries have different businesses have different theories on this one. You can think about it. Sometimes we were talking about other things like ego, human ego, and stuff like that. I like this clip. This is from Navy SEALs, USA. Please watch it. Very interesting. Some hiring techniques. These are experts in their fields. This one is going to give you, the first one is going to give you some details of Google. Google is international business, so that is one example I wanted to share with you. What are the things they keep in mind? So you can watch this one. But essentially speaking, what I want to say is that find a company, international business you want to know more about. You like, all of you like different type of companies. One of our friends like Adidas, she want to work there. Other friends have their own preferences. So try to find out what are the things they are looking for in hiring, and try to see how you can prepare yourself for that. You should do it from now. Don't wait till graduation or whatever, and start working on those skills, whatever is required, because you must have realized by now, I'm sure, that to be successful in international market, it is going to take a lot, for both, for the company if they want to be successful, and for us also if we want to go in international market and be successful. Always be prepared that there will be conflicts. People are going to not agree with you 100% of the time. You are going to face resistance, especially if you are coming up with new idea, innovation, new ways of doing things, new product development, research and development. Especially you are going to face a lot of resistance from outside, from the external environment, your own personal environment, your circumstances, your family conditions, and even from within the company where you are working. Because within the company, for the next promotion, you will be dealing with all different type of people, because not just you want to be get promoted for that job. You have competition within the company. So a lot of politics and those type of things are there. Last thing I want to conclude this thing on: if you think it is expensive to hire a professional, wait until you hire an amateur. Yeah, think about that. With that, I am concluding our official engagement. Thanks very much for that.